Hey guys, I am very excited to announce that we have our first three sponsors that are going to be backing the show financially. They are the Bank of Springfield, Body Symmetry, and Washco Strength and Speed here. So we're going to be running a little ad for them, and in turn, they're going to be, kicking us a little bit of money, which we are, like I said, going to be making charitable. We're going to be spreading that around to local baseball entities. I will not keep a dime of it. We recently gave a check to Lincoln Land Baseball, and we have plans for Little Leagues and UIS Baseball and other entities around the community. So this thing's, picking up some steam, and I appreciate all the support. Today's episode is brought to you by Jason Knoedler and the Bank of Springfield. I will be the first to tell you that I am not the most literate person financially, but I do know people, and I know that the Bank of Springfield has invested in a lot of people that I know and trust. They have invested heavily in former local area athletes and baseball players. Off the top of my head, I can think of, Jason Knoedler, Justin Knoedler, Eric Weaver, Tim Wallen, Greg Morantz, Frank Stefano, Murph Mathiet, Ryan Murphy. These are all guys that I know and trust and would have no problems putting my financial future in their hands. And so Bank of Springfield is always involving themselves in local charities and the community and talks about being a family. So if you're going to put your money somewhere, take it to Bank of Springfield. These are guys you can trust. We are also brought to you by Washco Strength and Speed, located at 3604 North Peoria Road. There's also a second location in Jacksonville. Jared can be reached at 217-899-3233. I do not think there is a better place to take your youth athlete, specifically a baseball or softball player, than Washco Strength and Speed. Jared was an SHG grad. He went to ISU. He pitched at SCI. He has his certified strength and conditioning specialist, which is the top certification you can get in the game. He is on it with his programming. He stays on new modalities and training methods. He offers summer camps, team training, group training, arm care, velocity work. The proof is really in the pudding when it comes to Jared. All of his athletes get stronger, they get faster, they get more explosive. They're less injury prone. He's cranking out athletes to college. If you really care about your athlete and you want to invest in them, send them to Washco Strength and Speed. We are also brought to you by Body Symmetry, located at 2201 West White Oaks Drive, bodysymmetry.com. More specifically, Chad Marshik, the owner, head trainer. This guy is just amazing on so many levels. He is capable of training anyone from a child to a pro athlete to just your normal everyday person to the elderly. And not only is he a trainer, but he is also adept with, physical therapy, nutrition. Everything is going to be customized to you and what you need. There's a movement analysis when you first come in to address any deficiencies you have. It's all customized. Chad is the most positive, happy guy I've ever been around. Body Symmetry will get you right. I would, put my faith in Chad and his trainers any day. So go to bodysymmetry.com, get set up. Chad, we appreciate you. Thank you. We are also brought to you by Hurwitz Enterprises. They can be reached at 217-544-4002. Get a hold of them for all your commercial real estate needs. They've been the best in the business since 1978 around here. I'm talking Joe, I'm talking Mimi, I'm talking Mikey, all working there. This is an absolute baseball family. I love the Hurwitz family. Jake, the older brother, played at Illinois College. Henry played with me at Lincoln Land Community College, one of my favorite all-time teammates. And Mikey, the youngest, was a stud at the U of I. Again, love this family. Go support them. Thanks, Hurwitz. Short disclaimer, I forgot to mention that I spoke with the head coach at the University of Michigan, Tracy Smith, for this episode as well. And I just wanted to make sure that I gave him his proper respects. Hey everyone, we are back with another episode of the Post Game Spread podcast. I'm your host, Blake Helm. Today we have such a special episode. This guy is like a big brother to me. I think so highly of him. Jason Knoedler we have here with us, and before we get going, I'm going to take you through a little bit of Jason's background. Goes by a couple monikers, Jason, J.A., Mr. Vice President, one half of the Kteam. Jason was a 1998 SHS grad, Springfield High School, where he started in baseball and football. He was a 2000 graduate at Lincoln Land Community College, where they won the national championship, and he was an All-American. He is the all-time leader in single-season steals and runs scored at LLCC, a 2017 Hall of Fame inductee. He was a 2001 second-team All-American at Miami of Ohio, where he was also the Male Athlete of the Year. Following that, he was a sixth-round draft pick of the Tigers in 2001, and he enjoyed a 5-year pro career. Currently, he is the vice chairman of the board of directors and senior vice president of the Bank of Springfield, and also owner of the clubhouse. Jason, how we doing, buddy?
Hey, man. Thrilled to be here. Thanks for doing this. Kudos to you guys for coming up with this idea. I know you've been working on it for a long time, and we've been talking about doing this for a long time. So here we are on a Sunday evening. The MLB draft is on, and we get to just sit around, chill, and talk a lot of baseball. So thrilled to be here with you, man, and let's have some fun.
I appreciate it. In prep for this, I keep going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. I talked to Jamie Stash, your freshman and JV coach, an absolute baseball dude. I love that guy. He had a short pro career in the Frontier League. Justin Knoedler, I don't need to say anything more. Ryan O'Malley, need I say more? Ryan Murphy, your teammate on the 2000 team. Your coworker at BOS, he played at SLU, hell of a ball player. Claude Krasik, your coach at LLCC for the 2000 team. Mr. Logger, what more needs to be said? Big Bull, Ron Bull's father, Bull, Ron Riggle, DK, Don Kelly, the Pirates bench coach, and then Mama Mia, Mama Knoedler, Teresa Knoedler. So we've got plenty of perspective, plenty of stories, plenty of laughs here. Ready to get going.
Well, you've been busy, man. If you talk to all those people, I'm sure there's some stories that have come up. So I'm I'd be interested to see what they all said, but I'm excited. I mean, everybody you mentioned was had a deep, inspiration and a lot to do with, not only my baseball career, but part of my journey. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, some great people. I've been knowing you for a long time too. That's why this is a really special episode for me. I can think back to first knowing you or seeing you at the SHS, the Senator baseball camps, you being a counselor, me being, a 6th grade, 7th grader, coming up and first starting to know you. And then Joey, your younger brother, is one of my best buddies, and I grew up kind of around the Knoedler household. Really cool. And then, later on, as my baseball career progressed, you and JU and O'Malley kind of took me under your wing. And I have to take this moment to say thank you for that. You guys were so incredible to me, and you really showed me process and, let me just kind of tag along with you, hitting, working out, conditioning, all these things. And, I was trying to make it, and it just meant so much to me, and it helped me grow as a person, and forever grateful. Thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate those words, and, that's the most fun about these journeys. And, we'll get into talking, I'm sure, a lot about it, but passing it on is one of the most important things.
Well said.
And we've had a lot of fun with a lot of people in this area playing a beautiful game of baseball. And if you can't pass it on, what are you waiting for, man?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you guys truly did pass it on. And, going down that line, I tried to pass it on the same way you guys did to me to other ball players coming up. So it keeps rolling down the line, and all the good you guys did, it wasn't for waste. So
that's right.
Awesome, man.
Appreciate those words, buddy.
Absolutely, bud. So let's get rolling into it, man. Fun. I'd like to just start from the beginning, kind of what is it, growing up in the Knoedler house at 136 North State, had the green turf porch. Man, love that place. Iconic. Tell me a little bit about mom and dad and what it was like growing up.
I mean, well, first of all, that neighborhood was amazing back in the day. I mean, gosh, from age 2 and on, that's where we grew up. And to this day, I can still drive down that street and think about where we had the baseball field set up, man. We had the Sunleys to the south of us. We had the risers to the north of us. We set up the base paths. We had the power line as the home run fence. And just a great neighborhood of kids.
Yeah.
What a great childhood. I mean, there was just a ton of kids running the neighborhood. Heck, I remember Mama Teresa kicking us out of the house and locking the door saying, get the hell outside. I mean, it was just a great spot, and had a lot of fun at that house. And kudos to my mom and dad because they made sure that we stayed active. We weren't big video game kids,
Right.
and
Couldn't see
you
that.
know, we probably got stuff getting cut off our backs and our cheeks now from suntans and sunburns and stuff like that. But they wanted us outside playing, man, and we had a lot of fun doing it. So great neighborhood.
What kind of where do you go? Where do you play Little League at?
So the SSBA League. I mean, my dad.
Southwest.
Yeah, Southwest Springfield Southwest Baseball Association. I mean, we it's so much different now. So, but like back then, I mean, you were lucky to play 15 games in a summer.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I mean, at age 6, I remember playing t-ball at like the gosh, what's that Lutheran church right there on the corner
St. John's.
Yeah, St. John's Lutheran. That's where we were playing t-ball games.
Yeah.
And we probably played too many years of t-ball, thanks to my dad. But, you know, you progress, and my dad was super involved with SSBA League.
Okay.
He and, Dan O'Connell and a number of people that kudos to them for just, you know, putting in the time and effort. And I've since tried to do my part.
Yeah.
And
I knew you were involved in it.
yeah, so I'm still involved. I mean, not as much as I need to be anymore because I'm chasing kids every night. So, but I still try to do what I can to help out the league. But Southwest Baseball League was amazing and good competition, and had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like you dropping some of those names. That's been some of the funnest parts of these podcasts has been guys going back and talking about former teammates, you know, guys that had an impact on them through, you know, they ran this travel league or they ran this organization and whatnot. So I hope
if you think about that, I mean, the travel baseball scene has just gone crazy. I mean, it really has.
Right?
And back then you had Southwest Baseball. If you were the top team in your league, you went and played in the AABC end of season World Series, they called it. Now every weekend there's a World Series.
Right.
But then, you know, a couple travel teams start, you know, trickling in. You had the Springfield Flame, you had the Saints, and to be honest with you, my brother and I, we probably weren't good enough to make those teams.
Are you ready for your first sound clip?
Yeah, let's do it.
Mama K, this is perfect timing.
Yeah,
this is so perfect. All right, here we go.
Was it apparent that he was special athletically from a young age, or what are your thoughts there?
Not really. I mean, they were like skinny runts.
That's what I heard. Yeah. Yeah.
They really were.
Kind of like late bloomers, skinny runts.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they weren't good enough to play on the Flame or, you know, those big high dollar traveling teams. They were just, you know.
All right. There's our Mama K clip.
There it is. So apparently I'm a skinny runt.
Skinny runt.
You know, that's funny. I mean, I look back at pictures, the old Polaroid pictures that you used to take, and we were skinny, and I mean, and we were. At least I was. I mean, I was 100 pounds soaking wet going into high school. So I did not grow quick. I was the guy that had to scrap and always work a little extra harder and do those intangible things because I wasn't the guy that stepped on the field and was like, oh, shoot, there's Jason Knoedler.
Right.
Look how good of a ball player he is. I mean, that just wasn't the way it was.
And I think that's a really important part of your story because you learned, you know, a work ethic. You weren't this world beater with all the tools as a 12-year-old. No one picked you. No one said Jason Knoedler is going to be a 6th-round pick in 10 years.
Right. No, if there was one tool I had, I mean, I was quick.
Yeah, fast.
I mean, you can't teach speed, but
right.
So that was the only tool that I had at that point. And besides being 5'4" and 99 pounds soaking wet, that was.
So you guys were not playing. For those that don't know, the Springfield Flame were kind of the premier traveling team for a long time in the Springfield area for that kind of 13, 14-year-old age range. You guys did not play for the Flame.
No, we did not. Yeah, no, we just played literally. I would love to look back. I mean, if we played 16 games in a summer, that was probably about it. I mean, it was, you know, you play over at Schlitt Park.
Great.
Under the lights. It was a big deal when you got on that field, and now it's gorgeous. It's turfed, and
it is pretty now.
It's an awesome place.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so cool. And I think that, like, later you guys grew into these, you know, super athletes that had all these, you know, very fast and strong and explosive. But when you were young, like you said, you were fast, but you were small. So you had to learn how to grind, how to work, how to outwork people. And then eventually those tools came. And we'll get to that when it all came together. But that was when things got really magical for you. But
but one thing, I mean, we were lucky in that league to always have coaches that had a passion for baseball. So out of anything that we learned, anything that we did in summer ball, was we just learned to love the game. I mean, Dave Venable, one of my dad's good buddies, he taught us a lot about the game, but most importantly, man, he taught us like this game is great. You got to love it to want to play it.
Yeah.
And so that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Man. Stash. Okay. So we're up to high school here. So we're going into high school at what size?
I tell you what, man, like Miss Dvorak. You remember Miss Dvorak?
I love Miss Dvorak.
Lori Dvorak.
Legend.
God bless her heart. She always told the stories like, I watched you and your brother walk in the first day of high school, and I was like, oh, my God, these guys are going to get killed. I mean, these little runts, as my mom would say,
Yeah.
I mean, they're dweebs.
Yeah.
So, we loved sports. Heck, I remember Justin and I both went out for freshman football, and they told me to go be a flanker, and I'm like, what the hell's a flanker? And everybody laughs. I'm like, well, why am I out here? I'm going to get my brains beat in. First day of pads, we were like, no, let's get out of here. Let's go get stronger. So we played golf, I think.
Really?
Got back into the gym.
You guys eventually came back to football.
Yeah, we did. We came back our junior year once we got our got our man strength, I guess. I mean, because we grew quickly after that. I mean, by the time we were driving, we started to grow, and late bloomers, if you will, and yeah, it was fun.
For those of you that don't know, what did you end up being? 6'1"?
Yeah, I'm right. I'm just under 6'1".
Was Justin 6'2"?
Yeah, he's a little taller than me. And
a little, but
we won't mention the weight because I'm probably carrying too many lbs these days. But
Mama's 6'3".
Mom, yeah, I think my
6'2",
mom's
6'3"?
6'2". I think my dad was maybe a little taller at 6'3". But
Okay,
yeah.
and Joey's 6'4", 6'5"?
Yeah, we got hosed. Justin and I got
Right?
hosed on that deal. Yeah, we always said we had to split it in the womb, I guess.
Yeah, but Mom was an accomplished basketball player and volleyball player at SHS, and got an offer to Western. Said she got married at 20 instead of going to college.
Yeah, you don't see that anymore, man.
Isn't that
Like
crazy?
they don't get married that early anymore.
Yeah.
But like, what was so great? Like we grew up going out to like the Brown Bomber and watching my mom hit tanks. I mean, she hit bombs, and it was so much fun. We would race out there and get her home run balls because we get a quarter to put in the games in the game parlor that was out the Brown Bomber, and then we'd go watch her play volleyball. And she never did any basketball later in life, but it was fun, man. It was fun watching her play. And
Everyone has said that I've talked to that the athleticism comes from her side.
yeah, and I think if my dad were still around, he would even admit that. I mean, he played up until probably junior high, but sports really weren't his thing. I mean, he always loved the game, and if he taught us anything, he taught us how to, hey, whatever you're doing, you're working hard and have a passion for it. But the athleticism definitely came from Mama Kay.
And then we've got an uncle that's 6'8".
Yeah, my Uncle Joe was tall, so there was a lot of height.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take what I get, but
yeah.
I always tell Joey, if I had your frame, dude.
Oh man, don't get me started on Joe. Don't get me started on that guy.
Yeah.
Let's get started actually.
No,
Joe
he's an amazing human being, man.
He's an amazing athlete.
Love being around that guy.
Dude,
yeah, for sure.
We always joked that, if Joe had a little more, mean streak in him, he would have been in the NFL.
Yeah, he was a big teddy bear. There's
Absolute.
no doubt about it.
I mean, but athletic phenom. I've seen him throw a football 70 yards, and I think he ran like a 4.6 or something at Quincy. He went to Quincy and played football for a year.
Yeah.
But phenomenal.
Then realize
athlete.
it's a full-time job, which most of these kids nowadays don't realize.
Right.
You want to go play college sports, man, it's a full-time job.
Yep. And before we get going, I had a couple quotes from your mom before we rolled. The twins were a riot. They were always best buds. They did everything together, had the same friends, no real competition amongst each other. They more supported each other more than anything, and I couldn't be more proud of him. My heart bursts for him now. And, yeah, it was really cool talking to your mom there.
Yeah.
So
well, we did. And Justin and I, we absolutely did push each other, but we were each other's biggest fans. But, I mean, there was times that we would just be ruthless to each other. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, stop hitting pop-ups to the left side. Why don't you make an adjustment, dude?
Oh, that's
Get
perfect.
your head out of your ear, man.
Big Bull told me a story about you coming in from right field and giving it to Justin one time because he didn't cover the first base. Accurate?
I don't remember that specifically, but he and I would give each other the business back then. And I mean, we would because we were like, dude, come on, man. Like, you can't be doing this. Make an adjustment.
Yeah. I mean, you can talk to each other like only brothers can.
Oh, yeah. But it took both of us to take down Joey. I mean, so that's the way it was.
Did you guys fall in love with the game early, or did it come later?
Well, so like growing up, I mean, I think because of our parents, I mean, and, other family members, they just – every birthday present had something to do with baseball. We collected baseball cards. Justin and I shared a room all growing up. So on my side of the room was Ozzie Smith and Vince Coleman, and his side was Andre Dawson and
He was
Mark,
Cubs for a while, wasn't
Mark
he?
Grace. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Not anymore, is he?
No, he gave that up. I mean, he lost an
Flip-flop.
affinity for a team once he played pro ball. So
Yeah.
and then he says he likes playoff baseball now. So he likes to get down
He
the
did
Cardinals.
make
I don't
his-
think we have to worry about either one of the Cubs or the Cardinals making the playoffs this year. But yeah, no. So it was a lot of fun. That Cardinal Cub rivalry growing up was a blast. And I remember being out in the front yard, like we would pretend like the whole, like what kids do. You go through the whole lineup: lead off, Ozzie Smith, Vince Coleman, Willie McGee,
Do their batting stance.
Terry Pendleton. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So and he'd be Andre Dawson.
Great names. Yeah.
Yep.
Those
So
are great
It was
names.
fun.
All right, man. So we are, let's just say we're at our freshman year. So you didn't really answer that, though. Like, were you like, I want to push baseball as far as I can, or was that even in your mind
Yeah,
yet?
that wasn't even on the radar as far as like wanting to. I mean, well, I take that back. I mean, I remember in one of our language arts classes, you had to do and this might have been 7th grade, hey, what do I want to be when I grow up type thing.
Sure.
And Justin and I both did it. We both said we wanted to be Major League Baseball players. Now, that's a pipe dream.
Sure.
But we actually did write that in. And those books are somewhere, probably hidden in Mama Knoedler's basement somewhere. But I mean, so there was that dream, which I think a lot of kids have. But the reality of it was, like, I remember at one time I wanted to be a construction worker because I lived next to the risers and watched him build houses and build different things all the time. So I had that vision. Later in life, I kind of gravitated toward numbers and finance and those types of things. But like, I just loved playing the game. Like I remember being in class, as early as 3rd grade and couldn't wait to get to baseball practice.
Yeah.
And some of these kids
that.
now, they hate to practice. They just want to play the games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to love to practice.
I think O'Malley said that there's a term, it was like the Knoedler hustle, and he was always talking about you guys' work ethic. And
we always got grief for that too, like, but we were like, hey, you got to run to the tree and back. I was going to be first. Like, I was going to compete. I was going to be the first guy back.
Yeah.
Or, hey, you got to pick up the balls. I'm going to pick up the most balls, and everybody was like, gosh, dang, you're making us all look bad, Knoedler. Knock it off. But you know what? I had to stand out because I was 90 pounds soaking wet, and I was going to be that guy that could have that intangible there. So
that's awesome. Which brings us right into a perfect little spot here. Jamie Stash is one of my favorite dudes in baseball. He was just awesome to me. I know he was awesome to you guys, and you guys were actually on the freshman and JV team. Is that correct?
That's right.
So you weren't, a freshman on varsity like your son.
No, exactly. Right? Yeah. I mean, and there's, things have changed so much. I mean, there's when freshman year, I remember playing the whole freshman year. Maybe sophomore year, I may have gotten to dress up a couple games. I can't really remember, but it almost seems like today there's like a sense of entitlement, like, hey, you got to play varsity as a freshman or you're not worth it.
Otherwise, you're not it.
But that's not the case, man.
Totally, it's not the case.
I mean, I tell everybody, kids are like popcorn, man. They're going to pop at different times, and
that's great.
You can develop. You keep putting the work in, and you love to practice, and you'll get there if it's meant to be.
You guys just need a little more
time
time in the microwave.
That's right. That's right. We ate a lot of meals out of the microwave growing up too.
But man, I always remember Stash just talking about you guys and be like, they were little, they were runts, and like they weren't like the best or anything like that. They just grind and worked. And
well, Jamie was a little guy too.
Yeah,
I mean,
scrappy.
But man, he was a lot of fun to play for, and man, you talk about a guy that loved the game.
Yeah,
man,
totally.
he's a
Loved
grinder and great hands, and he taught us a lot about just playing the game hard. And I remember specifically just learning how to take that extra base and run
you were
hard
famous
90s.
for that too.
Oh yeah,
everyone talks about you doing that,
creating havoc on the bases, and now it's coming back. It lost its way.
It did.
I mean, I tell kids today, like, you can win a game just on bases. Now you can't steal first,
right?
But if you get on base, you can create some havoc. And now you got like that Ellie De La Cruz for the Reds.
We just steal 3 bases in a
doing some
inning
crazy
or something.
things. And so, I mean, that's the kind of baseball that I love. So.
Let me ask you a question. Did Stash practice ever turn into him hitting with you guys?
Oh yeah, Stash always. If you took batting practice, he was going to get his swings in too. But and he could hit, man.
Oh, rake!
I tell you what,
absolutely rake.
I mean,
and had
you
a
talk
hose
about
too.
a guy that had just great hands.
Oh yeah,
he had great hands, fielding and hitting.
Yeah.
Had
an amazing arm. We used to always laugh because Stash would be like, "All right, let me get some swings," and then it'd be 20 minutes would go by, and Stash would hit every ball over the fence.
Oh yeah.
and just
Yep.
love that guy.
Yeah, you could tell that guy could flat out play back in the day.
I think he played.
Yeah, I think he could still show up and probably get a base hit somewhere in the big leagues.
Oh gosh, yeah, he could do all those things. I think he played for the Kentucky Rifles in the Frontier League.
Yeah.
Frontier League, and then he was at Lincoln Memorial University at D2.
Yeah.
But I got some Jamie Stash quotes here. Jason was so little, physically smaller than most, but that didn't stop him. He had such a passion for the game. They were good little athletes, and they just didn't grow yet. Jason always wanted extra work, always stayed after. He was such a great kid to work with. They worked their asses off. We hit endless balls at Schlitt, ground balls, throwing to him. He couldn't get enough. He was a student of the game, thought through everything, had incredible instincts, and were big-time team guys. A lot of guys said you were big-time team guy. Jason was never detoured by all the attention Justin got, and good for him. And when he finally got, his due, he was always looking for an edge and wanted to be the best, and was one of the hardest workers I ever had.
Yeah. No, I mean, I remember those early mornings. I mean, you had to get up early because Justin and I had a paper route, so we would literally take off.
Paper route.
Yeah, that's right. Wait, and by the way, Justin and I actually did the doggone paper
Unlike
route.
Joe.
When Joey got it after us, my parents ended up doing it for him. The baby
gave him the
baby
money. Let's
gets
air him out.
everything.
Let's air him out right now.
That's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But no, Justin and I, we would race. He would take his 60 papers, I'd take mine, and we'd race in opposite directions and see how quick we could get it done because we knew we had to go take early swings over in the upstairs gym at Springfield High School.
Yeah, remember those
which
days.
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So.
those days, man.
Yeah.
And I was going over some of your high school stuff, and I'm going to shout out Coach Steinwart, actually. I've been in touch with him, Coach Jim Steinwart. He always did these booklets at the end of every year. You remember those things?
Oh, yeah.
And they were incredibly detailed, and it was
And
just
how much time he put into that, man.
tons,
gosh.
tons.
That was an amazing effort.
I
by him,
appreciate
yeah.
it so much more
Yeah.
now as a 38-year-old than I did
No
as an
doubt.
18-year-old.
And I think most do.
Sure, of
You're in the
course.
moment. You're a punk teenage kid.
Exactly,
You
and I
don't
was
realize
especially a punk.
the effort and time that he put into that. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, but it was amazing articles and little notes about the team and whatnot, and he kept all the stats. And I was looking around for stats, and at a certain point in time, they weren't keeping them in the late 90s, or there's nowhere online to find those. He has them all. He has stats of every CS8, the final statistics from 1985 on. Isn't that crazy?
I'm sure his wife loves that stuff taking over the basement.
There's got to be 40 books of those things now,
he's
dude.
coached a long time.
Yeah, he really has. So
Long time.
thank you to Jim Steinwart for that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Your senior year, you were an honorable mention. Not all state, not all CS8.
We had a great team. I mean,
you did. You guys had
some
dogs on that team.
Senior year, and to tell you the truth, our two of our best players were probably sophomores that year because we had Greg Taylor and Tim Wallen.
Timmy Wallen.
Yeah, I mean those guys were our 1 and 2 on the pitching staff, and then Matt Scheffler. But I mean, we had guys like Randy Rice.
Randy Rice, buddy.
I mean, freaking stud.
Yeah.
Chad Rusky.
Yeah.
Was batting in the middle of that lineup. My brother, myself. Gosh, I mean, it was I mean, right there. I mean, we were a ton.
Yeah. But I'm trying to think. And you also did come back to football.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, so junior year, Mark Stoddart was the one that was always in our ear trying to get us to go back and play football. But, we were big enough now. You would put some weight on. Didn't realize that we could probably get out there and contribute.
Right.
And so we went out there. Still didn't know what the hell I was doing out there. I mean, I could ankle bite and make a tackle on 3rd and long or something, but I wasn't going to be on the defensive side of the football because I avoided contact like the plague. So, but I mean, I could go catch a football and run. I was fast, but gosh, we had a lot of weapons.
Rusky was spinning it then, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Oh,
Rusky,
man, he could throw it,
Rusky
boy.
could throw it.
Yeah.
And had a good football mind.
Yeah.
And Justin played a little bit of football. I mean, he played defense a little bit, played tight end, and we had some big games. Still one of those.
Yeah.
Those years that beat SHG.
Right.
So.
You guys beat O'Malley.
That's right. We did beat O'Malley. Take that, O'Malley.
Take it, O'Malley.
Love you, buddy.
But so you ended up playing some travel ball in high school, right?
So I guess we started the Springfield Pride. So
Man, classic.
Dave Lawless.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. I mean, that guy put in a lot of time starting the Springfield Pride, and everything was Legion ball back then. So you get American Legion and Post 32, and you played the other Legion Hall teams. which was great because it wasn't super crazy travel. You could go to Chatham, you could go to Jacksonville, you could bounce up to Peoria. But a lot of stuff was done locally, and you'd get a 40-game season in during the summer, which is plenty.
Sure.
You know, some of these teams are playing 80 games a summer, which is nuts. But no, Legion ball was great, and we had a lot of success. And
who were some of the dudes on that team?
Oh, gosh. I mean, we had it was Justin, myself, Greg Taylor, Tim Wallen.
Yeah.
We had, we had a lot of guys kind of in and out. The older guys that we got to play up with sometimes, like, you remember Charles Holloway?
Oh, yeah, Southeast.
Oh, he was
monster.
He was a really good player. Matt Nunn played.
Oh, the Nunn brothers.
The Nunn brothers played.
Studs.
We had Joe Kulik.
Yeah.
Shane Teeter, Brian Ratchford.
Here we go.
Steve Shilsky.
Steve Shilsky played some pro ball.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So I'm going to forget mentioning guys, but there was a lot of guys, and it was really good competitive baseball. It wasn't over the top, crazy serious. Yeah. You could go play really good competition, work on your game, and have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking at your senior stats here: 333, 4 bombs, 23 stolen bases, which was good for third in the CS8. A strong year, but not like.
No, those aren't eye-popping numbers, and I'm surprised I hit 4 home runs. We had a good season, but we had that lineup where you didn't have to be the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just go up there and do your thing and just try to hit something hard. And once I got on base, I knew I was going to create havoc.
Sure.
But other than that, I mean, we had a great team that year and had a lot of fun. So.
And this was Justin's first time being drafted, correct?
So senior year, and that kind of came. I mean, in my recollection, that came out of nowhere.
Guys weren't expecting it.
No, we knew that he had a crazy strong arm, had a little bit of pop at the plate, but he was a catch and throw type of guy, which I think that's why they picked him up late. The Cardinals did. Mm-hmm. And funny story, I mean, the guy that drafted him, a guy by the name of Scott Melvin, was for the Cardinals at the time. So I'm at Southeast Park about 3 weeks ago, right before the season ended for baseball for the Chatham. And this guy comes up to me thinking I'm Justin, and he goes, "Do you know who I am?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, but he's in a Kansas City Royal outfit."
Yeah.
And he goes, "I'm Scott Melvin." And I'm like, "Who are?" He was there watching Detmers.
Yeah.
Him and 10 other teams.
Right.
But he's been scouting that long, 20 something years.
That's crazy, man.
And I said that my brother had just left, but it was good kind of catching up with him. And if you're scouting that long, at that point he's probably a cross checker and
moving up the chain,
probably making calls on who they're going to take tonight in the draft.
Right.
So,
he's not a bird dog anymore.
No, not at all.
So what was it like getting recruited, or how did that process play out?
So in high school, I mean, Justin and I had an opportunity to go to Eastern. The Eastern coach was calling, the local guys, McMurray, Illinois College. But really, there wasn't a lot out there. We had dreams of going down and playing for Dan Callahan and Dan.
SIU Carbondale.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Dan.
Yeah, that's right. And Dan, he had mentioned that he didn't think that we were ready for Division I baseball. And maybe we weren't.
Okay.
But he, would come back afterwards.
I think he whiffed on that one.
Yeah, and he admits it, and wish Dan was still around because he was a great baseball mound. It was great to see at the ballpark. He watched so much baseball and always had a, good stories to tell.
For sure, Dan Callahan was the longtime SIU Carbondale skipper, passed away. Great guy, very respected.
But getting recruited, I mean, when Lincoln Land called, we were like, okay, well, how's this going to line up, man? Because if these guys are going, we could really kick some ass out of Lincoln Land. I mean, we could really do some things. So,
the other guys around you, like O'Malley's.
So I can't remember if Justin and I had committed before O'Malley, but it was right back to back, and we were like, oh shoot, man! Okay, the three of us are going. Oh, Joe Kulik's going out there. We know Shane Teeter's going. With the guys that they were already out there, like Tyler Shelton and Duraco and Dustin Downs. I mean, man, we're gonna be good, and we were good. I mean, but so and that was kind of cool because Justin and I had kind of a brotherly agreement saying, hey, let's stick together for mom and dad.
Okay.
So
Just to make it easy on them. Yeah, that'd be hard to.
Yeah,
you guys went different places. Like,
absolutely.
how do you split that?
You know, and we really enjoyed playing together. I mean, heck, I was a shortstop up until I got to college. So
Really?
yeah,
All the way through high school.
yeah. So I played shortstop for Springfield High, and I did not. I'll be the first one to admit I did not make it look easy at shortstop.
I was the exact same.
but made plays.
Yeah.
But I did not make it look very easy. So they knew it was like, okay, eventually you're going to get to the outfield. But
Yeah.
I think in a doubleheader in high school, like Justin would catch one game, then he'd go play shortstop, and I'd bounce over to second base. So
Really?
there was a Knoedler middle there for a while.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So it was your choice to move to the outfield, or Claude moved you there?
I think it was probably Claude. I mean, but we kind of knew it was going to happen because we had Chip Wagner.
Yeah.
Chip was a really good middle
Slick.
infielder, really
Yeah.
good. So that's where they needed me, and any way to get on the field. So
Yeah. Okay. Cool, man.
Yeah.
So awesome. We're here at Lincoln Land. This would be your 1999 season. I've got your stats right here. We hit 330, 218 at bats, 18 doubles, 8 triples, 5 homers, 52 RBIs, 39 for 42 stolen bases. A very strong year. Tell me about this 99 team. What was fun about them? Any names you can remember? Anything? Just fun about that year.
No, that 99 group was good. I mean, we
Remember O'Malley saying
like-
you guys were loaded.
so we were. I mean, that sophomore class out there, you had you had Duraco, you had Danny McGee, you had Tyler Shelton,
Dustin Downs
you had Dustin Downs. I mean,
dropping bombs.
so we had Jeff Cox on the mound.
Mhm.
So there was a good leadership group, and those guys were great on the field and a lot of fun off the field, I might add. But I mean, they kind of showed us what college baseball was all about.
Yeah.
But man, out at Lincoln Land, I think that was the year that we played the entire season on Lincoln Land's backfield.
Really?
Because Claude had a great idea to tile the main field, so it was tore up the whole year.
Really?
So we're playing on that backfield, and it's not a great field, but man, we played really well back there. We ended up making a pretty good run.
You guys had a strong season.
Yeah, we made a pretty good run. I think we lost in the championship of the conference tournament that would have got us to the next level.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, the Lincoln
Yeah.
Land backfield is primarily used by high school teams these days, and I believe they practice on it as well.
Yeah.
They rent it out. But yeah, the main, Claude Krasik field is amazing. It's immaculate. It's
Yeah.
always been, very high end and whatnot.
Yeah.
So,
But no, I mean it was a lot of fun. That damn last game of the year though, I dove
Thumb?
in. I dove in.
let's go there.
I dove in. So I remember hitting a ball, and I rounded first, maybe stretched into a double, but stopped. And on my way back, diving into first, I jammed my right thumb into the bag,
Mhm.
avoiding the tag. And so I was like, I knew it was broke right when I did it.
Yeah.
But so I played. I keep playing.
How are you playing with a broken thumb?
Adrenaline.
Jeez.
So I think
Games like that, the rest of that day, or like games after this?
it was
days
like
after?
it was like the last game of the year. It was
Oh,
winter.
okay.
It was
Gotcha.
winter go
Yeah.
home at that point.
Gotcha.
So, and so then there was another. I think I hit a ball in the 6 hole, and
I can't believe
this is
amazing.
I broke both my thumbs in 2 different instances. Then the last damn game of the year.
Isn't that
So,
crazy?
yeah, and so I get X-rays, and they say, you're going to do surgery on one, and I even got to look at my damn thumbs now because my right thumb is the one that I had surgically repaired,
Yeah.
and then the other one was just casted. But I went through the whole dang summer with 2 green casts
They
on
called
my
you. They called you Mean Green.
Mean green. So what are
Murphy
you going to
gave me
do
that.
when you can't play? It's a 6-7 week
Yeah.
deal, which is about all the summer
Sure.
season's going to be anyway. So I ended up helping coach the
Pride.
Springfield Pride.
Yeah.
So coaching first base with Brady Burke, which was an awesome experience because you get to be on the other side of
Sure.
it and kind of help some young kids develop. And which some of these guys were my teammates. I mean,
Murphy was eventually.
Murphy and Greg Taylor and Tim Wallen and
Yeah, you knew these guys.
Sitko and all those guys.
So how did you come upon the opportunity to coach, or like what? Instead of doing something else, or
well, I
working,
think
or-
Justin got the
playing
opportunity to go
Rifles?
catch for the Rifles.
Would you
and
have got to play for the Rifles?
I
Were you
think
invited?
so. Maybe the Rifles or the Pallies. I can't remember.
Well, that's different.
Big
Yeah.
difference. Yeah, big difference. So it just kind of worked out that. So I got to travel around with those guys, and it was a lot of fun. It's it kind of helped keep me grounded because, you're seeing, things that you can help other teammates and guys with.
Sure.
So it was fun, and that actually kind of helps you in your perspective of things as well. So.
Yeah, 100%. So tell us about what are the challenges of having double broken thumbs? Dude, what is
I mean,
that
there's a
like?
lot of things you can't do. A lot you can't do. But it was still a really fun summer. I won't go into a lot of deals of things you can't do, but
yeah, we could go into some funny
but
stuff.
I do remember, gosh, there was one time down at Crest. You remember Crest Maddox?
Yeah.
Crest has some farm ground down in Carlinville, and we would frequent down there and kind of hang out. And I remember swimming down in the lake and still being able to find a way to do the rope swing and jump off. And
Made
I
it
can't
work.
even imagine. I'm glad I can't remember what those things smelled like after that. But
Gosh, I couldn't imagine doubles, man.
yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like just showering and just a lot of things.
You name it,
Just-
man. It was brutal. But, yeah. But it's something you live through. And I remember being really scared, though. Like, man, what if I can't swing a bat? It was an overreaction.
Yeah.
Like, what if I can't hit the same way?
Right.
But I think it ultimately made me work harder coming back because to this day, that between that freshman and sophomore year at Lincoln Land, I think is when I kind of made my biggest leap.
Really? Interesting.
in ability and
Yeah.
getting bigger, faster, stronger,
Yeah.
and whatnot. So.
What were you starting to hit the weights at Lincoln Land, or what was going on there?
Well, yeah, I can't remember when did they do the weight room out at Lincoln Land, because for a while there, the only thing out at Lincoln Land was like they had like one universal machines. You remember those what a universal machine was?
Yeah.
Like 4 stations is
Yeah.
all you could really do. But yeah, I think we just doing the acceleration program.
Yep, I did that myself.
Even trying to get faster.
Sure.
But just I was a big push-up guy.
Yeah. And I know Claude was famous for like pretty grueling calisthenics and conditioning and things like that.
Did a lot with my hands and wrist because I remember
Dude, I remember that.
I remember my wrist feeling so weak when I got those cast off. That's like, man, I got to do like 1 million wrist curls.
Dude, I remember
in the rice buckets.
Yeah,
getting in
the
the
old
rice
Knoedler
buckets.
house, you guys had a rice bucket.
Yeah,
and you had the old
bucket.
like dowel rod with like a weight on it that you would
and
do
the
wrist
rope.
curls.
Yep.
And just do them until you couldn't do them anymore.
That's
just
right.
burning them up.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, and to this day, I still think that kids need to be doing more of that stuff because
Absolutely.
ultimately, man, you're hitting that ball. It's a lot of hands and wrists.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I swear I remember you talking about, I mentioned it in the O'Malley podcast, how long the Lincoln Land practices would be under Claude. Can you
Oh, they
speak
were
to that?
marathons. and some days, like you'd work out for like 3 hours, and then he's like, "Well, boys, we're gonna aerate the field, and then we're gonna fill it full of Diamond Dry." And we're like, "Get the heck out of here, man! Like we gotta go." But we did. We did. And to this day, Claude was great. All my coaches. I look back and I learned so much from so many of them. Even Stash, Steinwart, Krasik, and on. And we'll get into some other ones later.
Sure.
But Claude taught me a lot about the game, and Claude actually really helped me at the play. He noticed a couple things in my swing that was restricting me. Like it was restricting getting through a ball. And he's like, "Hey man, like I feel like if you do these drills, because he was a fundamentalist.
He was, yeah.
He really was.
Absolutely.
And so we grinded it out. And you had Don Tim, and you had Bruce Richards,
Pally himself,
and Pally, he probably taught me a little bit about hitting perspective, but not a fundamentalist.
Right, no.
Not a fundamentalist at all.
Man.
But kept you loose, which is a big, important part of the game.
A morale guy.
Yeah, a morale guy. Pally
himself.
Unfortunately, we're talking about too many of these guys that are gone. But
Yeah, rest in peace to Pally.
Yeah, but Don Tim was a fundamentalist too. Did you ever get to work out with Don?
No.
He probably was done. Because he would come out. We'd have workouts in the morning at Lincoln Land, and he'd be there. He coached at McMurray for a number of years, but used to do this thing with like yardsticks, and really would have you focus on like where you're making contact with the ball. Are you an 8-inch out in front of the plate guy? Are you a guy that catches it a little bit deeper?
Yeah.
But I think really the gist of it was it just made you concentrate on where you're making contact instead of trying to lift, trying to do stupid things that you shouldn't be doing. So
are you only hitting right-handed at this point?
I was only hitting right-handed.
Okay, we're gonna get there, and it's I'm so excited to get there.
All the way through Lincoln Land,
presentation there, but okay, cool. So we're essentially at our 2000 year here. This is like a very special moment, very special year. All the guys that I talked to that have been on this team, like they light up when they talk about this year, how magical it was, how close you guys were, like truly brothers. And you guys went on this amazing run, and you had 5 pros and 2 guys made it to the show and just loaded. Let's start. Actually, let me hit a couple sound clips about the 2000 team, and then we'll just start talking about it.
Yeah, because I think we spend an hour on that.
Oh, yeah, easy, dude. Okay.
Okay, so in order here, we've got Big Bull, Claude Krasik, Ryan Murphy, and then Bull.
He looked at me and he said, "Mr. Riggle, how good are you?" I said, "We're going to win this, baby, and we're going to win it in a walk." He said, "You're that good?" I said, "We are that good."
This is amazing. I love it, man. Oh, this is incredible.
We could play, and that team was one of the few I'd ever seen. We could play any way you want to play. If you want to play fundamental baseball, we can play that way. If you want to hit the ball over the field, we can do that. And if you wanted to pitch between Blackwell and O'Malley, and Blackwell was just a killer. He was a killer.
He was, yeah.
But the thing about him, his sophomore year, he had a good freshman year. He hit close to 400 and was a team leader. But his second year, he hit like 442. He scored 90 runs.
Oh, yeah, he had an amazing offensive year.
79 hits out of the leadoff spot.
Yeah.
14 of which were doubles. He had 2 triples, and here's our little surprise, Ricky Henderson. Ricky liked to see the ball. Ricky liked to hit the ball. Well, Jason did the same thing, and he would see the ball and hit the ball out of the park a lot of times as the leadoff man, and that kind of got the attention of the other team right off the bat. And they said, "What the hell are we in for at this group?"
Let's talk about Jason Knoedler as a teammate. Let's talk about Jason Knoedler on that 2000 team. What was his role?
Well, dude, he was the spark plug, man. Like that team was the engine, but man, it doesn't go unless the spark plug doesn't ignite you. And that was Jay. I mean, I've never played with a guy like him, to be honest with you. I mean, he was one of a kind and unique. I mean, we lost him for about a 10-day stretch towards the end of the season. And we were really rolling. We came back from Florida and we went on a heck of a run where we just showed up and we were like, we're better. We're going to beat you no matter what. Yeah. And he was the cause of it because he started us off. And when we lost him for a week, we were average. I mean, we were average.
Really?
And that's crazy to say, but like we were average because.
Yeah. And
but other than that, what I remember, man, is obviously that team was extremely talented, had a lot of good people. But I mean, if I had to pick somebody that I would say was our emotional leader, it's him. I mean, he's the rah-rah, let's go guy. Or O's kind of not like that. Jason's, Justin's not like that.
Right.
Blackwell just kind of does his own thing, and from the pitching standpoint, I mean, he was the clown of the group, but Jason was kind of that everyday motivator guy. I mean, high energy.
Always positive.
He was always positive and brought it. Not that those other guys didn't, but just in a more vocal way, brought it every day.
Okay, those are some clips here. I'm going to roll off your stats, and then we'll just start talking.
Okay.
Cool?
Right.
All right, you had an dude, this season is crazy. And I know Justin was the National Player of the Year, but when I look at these, I think you could have been the National Player of the Year too. These are not that far off from, my first episode was Ryan Aper, who had the season for the ages at Lincoln Land, and this is very close to it. We hit 422. This is in 52 games, 187 at-bats, 90 runs scored. 79 hits, 14 doubles, two triples, 14 bombs, 58 RBIs, 139 total bases, 743 slugging, 53 for 56 stolen bases, which is just crazy, dude. So
I think I was safe 2 of the other 3 of those times too.
I believe you, man. And man, this is like the 2000 team is so iconic. Let's just start talking, man. Let's talk about some teammates.
Yeah. So like what I remember about that year, and we went down to Florida, and we got off to a slow start.
Really,
we really did. But like it was weird stuff that was costing us the games. Like so, it was like a miscue here, or gosh, we hit just a smoked a shot to left field, and then guy makes a diving play, and we don't get the runs in. So I mean, it was like we knew we were there. We knew we were playing the way we needed to play.
Yeah.
We just weren't over the hump. As soon as we got back home, we hit full stride and
rolling.
Yeah, I mean, once we got into conference play, I mean, better bring your big boy pants, boys, because I mean it was game on.
Dogs.
I mean, we really started hitting a stride, and I always took the approach, man. Like I appreciate some of the comments that the guys made on it, because as a leadoff hitter, man, I wanted to be that spark. Like I wanted to set the tone every single game, and I think you had to. And but if it wasn't me, I mean, we had lighter fluid right afterwards.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
with Chip Wagner in the 2-hole, and then O'Malley and Justin and Murphy, and I mean, you name it. It was just firepower all the way down.
Yeah.
And what I remember is getting on. If I got on first, which was quite a few times to lead off the game, Chip Wagner would take a pitch almost every single time.
Let you go.
Just every single time. I mean, and so he let me steal bases, and then eventually I'm getting hit in by O'Malley or Justin, or a lot of times it was Chip though too.
And Chip was noted for being like excellent with the bat control, right?
Oh
Placing it,
great bunter,
Yeah.
great singles guy. He had some doubles too, and had
Yeah.
a little. He was secretly pretty powerful with the bat too.
But a short little swing couldn't beat him right on a
That's
fastball.
right.
I remember you guys talking about that.
Yeah. So it was just it was a good 1-2 punch there, and then you get into the meat of our order and watch out.
Yeah, scary.
So.
I'm gonna rattle off some of these names: Scotty Blackwell, Ryan Brittenell, Kevin Ferris, John Freeman, John Huber, Jason Knoedler, Justin Knoedler, Joe Kulik, Brad Leiniger, Ryan O'Malley, Everett Sunley, Chip Wagner, Pat Brown, Josh Cottrell, Ricky Harbauer, Nick Kunze, Brian Lemmy, Kyle Mooney, Ryan Murphy, Joel Namovich, Scott Riley, Frank Stefano, Ryan Turner.
Oh, I mean, you just mentioned a bunch of guys that probably didn't play a ton, that probably would have started on any other
You
team
guys were just
in
so
the
loaded.
Conference.
Yeah, so loaded.
I mean, and we had some guys go down. I mean, we had Scott Riley, who still might have the state
home run record in high school?
home run record for high school.
That's right. Pittsfield. Pittsfield, right?
He had a fall in a first 8 games, and he ended up tearing his rotator cuff, and
that was it.
It was it out of baseball. But man, he was a man child.
And he was probably on a trajectory to play pro ball in some capacity.
Oh yeah. I mean, he had the frame and the projectability.
Yeah.
Then you had John Huber that hurt his arm. I mean, he was a Nokomis guy throwing low 90s.
Yeah.
That didn't pan out, and then John Freeman hurt his back. John Freeman was just filthy from the left side.
Right.
So, and to do what we did without even those guys was pretty special.
And you guys had 5 pros: Scotty Blackwell, Frank Stefano, obviously you and JU, and O'Malley, and then obviously JU and O'Malley made it to the show, which is just crazy for a junior college team to crank out that many guys.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, some of the teams down in Texas or Southern California, they may surprise you.
But this is the middle of Illinois, college,
middle of a cornfield, yeah.
Right.
So I mean, it was pretty special. But what I remember most about that team was just the camaraderie. And man, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun on the field, but a heck of a lot of fun off the field too. And they're brothers. And you know what?
Yeah.
I don't get to see a lot of those guys anymore. But man, if they were here tonight, and I haven't seen them probably in. Some of them in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years.
Pick right up.
We'd pick right back up where we left off. And
all you guys talk about it like this brotherhood, like a very special team. Like that's lightning at a bottle. You don't always get on teams where you're that close or where everyone likes each other that much. But it sounds like you guys loved each other. This was like a really close team, really talented, and that is equals success.
Yep. And you know what? And I think with Ron Riggle and Claude Krasik and Pally and they kind of realized it. Because I feel like you have to adapt as coaches, too. The coaches realized, hey, man, we just got to let these guys run. I mean, we got to let them go a little bit. And they kind of stayed out of our way. I mean, they took us through some marathon practices for sure.
Yeah.
But
once it was time to play.
But kudos to those guys. Because we had some, Claude Krasik lost his dad at the very end of that year.
Yeah. I remember.
So that was a challenge, but we had his back on that too.
Yeah.
And we knew he had our back, and we had his as well.
Yeah, and I think Bull and Pally kind of took it over there for a couple games as he went and tended to family business.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys
but
ended up.
I'd actually forgot about that. I had had like something pinched in my back. And, like, man, I could not swing a bat. I kind of forgot that I was out for – I don't remember it being 10 games, but it was probably – I probably missed one of the series. Yeah. One of the conference series on that.
Yeah, I believe you're still the all-time steal leader at Lincoln Land. Yeah. I mean, 53 for 56. Does that just – I mean, what kind of confidence are you? I just feel like no one can throw you out.
Just go.
Nothing.
Just go.
Was there any finesse, or are you just wild fast? Or?
I was like, I know I'm going to get this bag.
Yeah.
Just get on the mound. I'm going to take it whenever I want it.
I mean, were you? I got this, right? Yeah.
But there, I mean, and there were some good catchers. Parkland had a really good catcher. Can't remember his name. Danville had a good guy. But I was just like, I want to get this catcher. I want to get him. So, but most of the time, you're really stealing it off the pitcher. Anyway.
Sure. Yeah. So. And obviously a big jump in bombs. Can you attest that to?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just getting my man strength, if you will. I mean, just bigger, faster, stronger. And I always took the approach as a leadoff hitter. I like to hit that first pitch a lot.
Really?
Getting a good fastball. Yeah. And trying to barrel it up. And sometimes I surprised myself. I was like, damn, I can't believe that got out of here. But
I've got one big bull story that I have to run by you, and it's my favorite. And like, for those of you
he was a treasure, by the way. I mean, that guy put in more time out at Lincoln Land and still does.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Making us ham sandwiches and
ham sandwiches.
Unbelievable. Yeah, but what's the story?
Joey called him the commander-in-chief of the concession stand, and it's perfect. Like, he is just all things Lincoln Land. Loves the program, fundraises, is always there for a story. He's kind of like that, like grandpa to everyone. Yeah. But he loved you guys so deeply, and like he would find a way to turn any conversation to the 2000 team after you guys left. It'd be like,
well, you know what those guys did.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, he'd be like, hey, Blake, or, hey, Blanky, what's going on? I'd be like, oh, it looks kind of gray out today. He'd be like, gray, you say? That reminds me, Jason Knoedler was wearing a gray shirt when he threw out 2 people in the 2000 year, and like, it would always circle back to 2000. Here it is. This is my favorite Big Bull story, and you were his favorite person to talk about, like story-wise. And I was at Lincoln Land for 3 years. I redshirted. I had a bunch of surgeries, blah, blah, blah. But it started out as, Blake, and let me tell you something. And then it would go into this. It was talking about you throwing 2 people out at first base in a game. And then.
From right field?
From right field. Okay. So then, but the story kept, as stories go, and as he would tell it more and more, it got more and more. So I felt like by the end of my 3rd year there, it turned into, it was no longer Jason had hosed 2 people from right field at first base, and it was amazing. It was like now Jason hosed 27 people and got the win from right field, and it was the first player in the history of baseball to get the win. This is a non-pitcher.
Oh, my God. I do remember. I did get the pitch a little bit. I don't even know if you have my pitching stats from Lincoln Land, but I did come in as a closer every once in a while.
We've got the 2000 stats right here. Yeah. Not great, though.
No, I'm sure they weren't.
8.59.
Yeah.
7 innings pitched, 9 Ks.
I struck out 9 guys.
9 guys, buddy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I probably walked a lot of guys, too, because all I did was try to throw as hard as I could.
And you were known for having a hose from the outfield. Did you ever?
So I love that play. I used to love that play from right. I used to love it. Just come up firing.
Yeah.
And I always told the first baseman, I was like, hey, man, be there, because I'm going to let this thing go. Yeah. And Justin, as a catcher, knew I would let it go, too, in case I airmailed it. Yeah, in case I airmailed it. But I used to love that play. Yeah. I even got a couple of those done when I got into the minor leagues, and everybody's just like, dude, you're not going to be able to do that much longer. Right. And I was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to get to the big leagues or not, so I'm just going to have fun.
Let it go, baby. Yeah. Fuck it.
Just let it rock.
Yeah. You guys were 46-19. You absolutely steamrolled everyone in the postseason. Like, dumb.
I think most of those losses were early, because I was going to say, like, I think we came back from Florida like 500, like 10-10 or something. So.
And then just like it just started rolling, and you guys realized how good you were. And
yeah. I mean, when you have Scotty Blackwell as your number 1, I mean, he was pretty fun to play defense behind, because he struck out a lot of guys.
Really? Stealing.
And then you had O'Malley come in as kind of a change of pace from the left side, and then Ev Sunley was just a competitor. Mm-hmm. So he was the number 3. We had some guys out of the pen like Brad Leiniger, who had he was curveball Kurt, man. He just threw curveballs and kept people off balanced. gosh, who was our other starter? Frank. I think Frank was starting a little bit that year, maybe, but not a ton.
Yeah.
'Cause I think he hurt himself.
He had
So
a bunch of stuff happen to Lincoln. Wasn't he at Lincoln Land for like 4 years or something?
He was there for a little bit, but he got hurt a couple times,
Yeah.
and then had a medical.
Shout out to
medical-
Frank. Love him.
medical-
Not trying to hate on you, buddy. Love you. Yeah.
Medical Richard.
Great guy.
No, we had a heck of a lot of fun. I mean, I'm trying to think of some of the big games. I mean, when we got in the conference tournament, we were just like a locomotive, man. We were just hitting on all strides.
Yeah, I've got some of those numbers here. Lincoln Land won its last 6 postseason games by a combined score of 57-8, including 35-2 in the last 4 World Series games in Millington, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Finished with a school record 46 victories, 12-0 in the title game. I think I got all that. Yeah. Yeah, 12 beat Iowa Central 12-0 in the title game.
Yeah. So have you ever been down to Millington?
Never
have.
have.
Never
No.
got down there. Well,
Pretty cool.
They've turfed it now. It's
Okay.
gorgeous, but it was a pretty cool deal because Millington was where like the USA team would work out.
Right.
For
that's right. Yeah.
And so it was kind of nostalgic and kind of cool, like to be down there. And we actually got, I think, pretty lucky because Blackwell pitches the first game, and then there was some rain that moved in, so we actually had an extra day to where we could bring him back.
Oh, cool.
So, I mean, the stars really aligned for our pitching rotation.
He was lights out that year, wasn't he?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he was filthy. Ev Sunley, matter of fact, he only hit back on Blackwell. He had one bad outing that whole year, and it's because he stayed out too late the night before and had a lady friend.
Doing homework.
Just doing homework, and with his lady friend, and
Got to study.
just didn't have it the next day.
Didn't have it.
That was his only time. So I was like, you should stop doing homework so late with your lady friend.
Got to have intervention with you,
That's
buddy.
right. That's
This
right.
homework's got to
That's
stop.
right.
So, man, you guys were just killing people. I mean, what does that feel like to be
Yeah.
steamrolling teams at the end there? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it was just a lot of fun. It was
Yeah.
probably the most fun year in baseball that I
Gotta
can
be, right?
remember. And
yeah.
and then we'd get after the games and hang out and
Yeah.
just we stayed out of trouble though too. I mean, we
Right.
really
Smart.
did. We
Had
hung
fun,
out. We
but
hung
smart.
out together, kept each other out of trouble.
Yeah.
And said, "Hey guys, we got something special here. So let's
not mess
make
this
sure
up."
let's make sure we get to the finish line."
Yeah.
So
What was that? You know what? I'm gonna roll through some quotes now because I've got some quotes from these guys. So
okay.
they're great, man. I'm gonna start off with Claude. Let me just say this guy is a treasure. I think he's 80 now. He's sharper than I am. I mean, way sharper than I am.
He sends me a Christmas card every year.
Does he
too,
really? What
still.
an awesome
Yeah.
guy. And I know you guys grew up going to his camps and stuff. And
So
Right.
I'm going to correct you on that because
No,
we
okay.
did not go to a lot of camps growing up.
Okay.
I don't think my parents could afford it.
okay,
I mean, maybe a handful here and there, but we helped them out with camps once we started doing
yeah,
the camps
Yeah.
later on.
Yeah.
So
and you guys were always awesome with that. But Claude is just so sharp, and he was remembering the most small minutia details.
I
of you
expect nothing less.
Isn't that
I mean,
crazy?
he's an amazing human being.
Guys. Yeah, I had a great
When it comes to that.
conversation with him. We would talk for like half hour, and it was just he's so warm and vibrant, and he was Mr. Logger. Like he is Lincoln Land baseball. He built that program on his back, and what a professional. I can't say enough about that guy. Love him.
That program. I mean, you think about like what schools have budget-wise now.
Yeah.
I mean, he started that thing with a
Shoestring.
shoestring
like nothing,
and,
buddy. Bubble gum.
I mean, unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Crazy.
Yeah, and he, just cranked out tons of pros.
His car, I think when he still had this little red Toyota, I think it was like a Corolla. The thing had like 300,000 miles on it, and I'm pretty sure it spun over once before. Like, it's just unbelievable. Yeah.
All right, you got to weigh in on this then. O'Malley thinks the Logger logo is Krasik. Krasik denies it. What you got?
It has to be.
It is.
I mean, it's got to be.
It's him.
It's got to be.
It's him.
Yeah. It's 100% him. Yeah, and I don't want to think anything otherwise. So if he can deny it all he wants, but that's what I'm saying.
I ever showed you this?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
I've got the old
That's great.
logger tattoo actually on me. It's
That's great.
being a logger is very special to me, and so I actually have this. For all we know, this is Claude Krasik.
Yeah.
This is the Claude.
Well,
Krasik
and when I
tattoo.
played, when you played, did you get the new blue? Because we
I
were the
was
baby
pissed.
blue.
I was pissed when
We were baby blue and red.
Yep. You know what? I love Bull, Ron Riggle, but pissed at you that you changed the powder blue. We all wanted it.
That's right.
They actually recently brought it back. You know that?
Yeah. I think I saw it.
Shout out to
one of the
Hannah Worth.
uniforms.
She's like running some stuff out there and kind of convinced him to bring it back. So powder blue is back in the
Yeah.
mix. But yeah, he changed it to royal blue.
That's fine.
And we were all bummed about that. Do you guys like the powder blue?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was sick.
Now we had we started getting some gear. I mean, we had these old bowling. They literally look like bowling jackets that we used to wear.
Yeah.
But like looking back, the kids would love them today because they
Right.
love all that
The
weird
retro.
stuff. Oh yeah. But yeah, when we were wearing them, we weren't big fans. But
So let me go through some Claude quotes. He called you, J.U. and O'Malley. And when I say J.U., obviously Justin, J.A. is Jason. The three amigos, and you guys were inseparable. He said that 2000 team was the greatest team LLCC has ever put on the field. We had 4 All-Americans. It was unreal. 5 pros, 2 big leaguers. The 94 team that won the national championship was a dogfight every game. In 2000, we just annihilated everyone. Let's see. This was the most intimidating JUCO team I've ever seen in all my years. I always wondered how good you guys could have been if you had been a 4-year school and like stayed together. That was he kind of said that, like he thought it would be really cool to see you guys progress together and how you would have done. And that's actually a good question. I'm going to pause right quick. How would you guys have fared against D1 competition?
so I mean, I to this day, and I listened to O'Malley's interview too,
Okay.
and he probably is going to answer it. He answered it a little bit different than I would. I said if we had O'Malley on the bump or Blackwell on the bump with our lineup, we could compete with anybody in the country.
totally agree.
And I stand by that. And I mean, nowadays there's some. Look, I mean, we're 20 years after the fact. You look at D1 programs now, like what we just saw, like with LSU in the title game in Florida. I mean, there's some dudes on that team. I mean,
Right.
these guys are bigger, faster, stronger than even we were back then.
Right.
But at the time, you know, if everything's equal, I think we compete pretty darn good.
I totally agree.
So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
totally agree. And I ended up playing, and I mean, Miami of Ohio was kind of like a mid-major. You guys weren't
Mhm.
LSU or anything like that. I played at Murray State, a mid-major. I
Mhm.
thought, you know, some of those Lincoln Land teams could have absolutely competed in those
Oh, yeah.
conferences, no doubt.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. So here we go. Claude's gonna contradict what you just said. He started coming to my camps when he was 8 or 9. He knew your mom and his brother, and he said you and JU were always scrapping. There was always commotion around you.
So I'm trying to think. I mean, we probably did go to camps, but like, I just don't really remember. I mean, maybe we did.
It's hard getting old, man.
Yeah, I know.
Just dominated the other kids in LLCC camps, which is interesting because you guys were runts. So maybe he's
I
remembering.
mean, if
it
I
wrong.
won anything, it was the speed challenge.
Here we
or
go.
something, But yeah, that was it. That would have been it.
All right. So on the 60-yard dash, when you back in the day, Lincoln Land used to run a 60 pretty quickly when you first got to school in the spring. And he said Jason comes up and fires a 6.6 60-yard dash, which is very fast. And I say, I think this stopwatch is broke. Run it again. And then he comes back and he runs a 6.5. And I looked at him and O'Malley throwing from the outfield, and I said, oh, my God, I have 2 major league arms. The hitting, the line drives all over the yard, a pure gap hitter. He could run so well, take the extra base, 53 of 56 on his stolen base attempts. A true team leader, eye-popping stats his sophomore year. Jason has leadership qualities, an undying desire to accomplish things that would make him better, a ball player, and disciplined to keep working towards his goals. He was a wonderful individual. Let's see. Oh, yeah, he said this was cool. He got to come watch you in the minor leagues one time, and he said he got to watch you make a game-saving catch that won the minor league championship where you were at, and he was so thrilled to feel like he was a part of your journey.
So we can get to that catch later on
Yeah,
because I do remember him being at that game.
I
But
would love to.
I really appreciate playing for Claude. I mean, looking back, you think back on all the coaches that kind of brought you along the way, and Claude was one of the best and still is one of the best, and great mentor. And he talked about leadership there, but man, leadership is one of those things. Like leading that team was easy because those guys wanted to be there.
Yeah.
leadership gets hard if you're surrounded by a bunch of
Well
guys
said.
that don't want to be there.
That's well said.
And so, I mean, and that's because of him. I mean, he bred that, like, people that wanted to be there. He recruited those guys and assembled a team that kind of aligned in similar interest and wanted to succeed. And so I'm glad that I could help be a spark plug and help lead the effort, because it was one of the best years of my life.
Yeah,
so,
man, so
yeah.
cool. All right, I got some big bull quotes for you. I love this guy.
Can you do it in his voice, please?
I'm doing. Man, I've got, like, obviously some of his stories are like a little tongue in cheek, so I can only say some things. But Jason, as a player, one of the few who could play every position on the field, that kind of player. Let me tell you something, Blakey. All right, one of the fastest guys I've ever seen, could hit from both sides. One of the most complete players I've ever seen, had a cannon for an arm. Did you ever get velo on the outfield?
I mean, like, we used to do those. I don't know if they were like scout days or whatever, and they did clock us out there. So I mean, I was 90 plus from the outfield. It wasn't like stupid numbers, but yeah, I was probably over 90 throwing from a crow hop or whatever.
Yeah, everyone always talks about how strong and accurate you were with your arm strength. So
So funny story. I told you I played in this golf outing today.
Yeah.
And it was backed up on one of the par threes, and so one of the guys bet one of his other guys that was in his group that I could throw a golf ball on the green from about 130 yards away. And I'm like, oh man, it's like I could do it if my arm were loose.
Yeah.
So he bet him, and I just chucked it. I chucked it.
Got there?
I chucked it up there. So I won a guy $100 today.
Oh, boy.
Of course, throwing it.
How's the wing feeling now?
Oh, it feels good, man. I feel batting practice almost every day to these
Okay,
tours.
so strong.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel pretty good.
All right. He told the story about how you came in and barked at JU for not covering first base, and said you ran all the way into the onto the infield and said, if you're going to play the position,
was Justin pitching?
Play the position, playing first base.
First base.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said after throwing to first when JU wasn't there, he said you ran all the way in and gave him the business.
So I don't remember that specific instance, but I remember being in marathon practices and batting practice and taking my fly balls in the outfield, and Justin's up. So I know he's a pull hitter, so I'm going to go to left field and take some fly balls. Sure. And he would just hit the top of the cage and pop it up and hit another pop up. And I'm just like getting mad at him. I'm like, why don't you make a doggone adjustment, man? Let's go. Hit the ball.
Is anyone else talking to him like that?
No.
Yeah.
No. I'm like, what are you doing? But I mean, that was just, and Justin would get on me for stupid stuff too. But like, I do remember that. But
you guys
we were hard on each other. But like we knew each other so well, still do to this day.
Yeah.
Finish each other's sentences. So
right.
I mean, when you know something that much about somebody, you expect more out of them.
Absolutely.
So
well said. Said you were such a gifted athlete, great at reading the ball, a tremendous base stealer. The 2000 team was the best JUCO team he's ever seen. We could beat anyone, any way you wanted to play. So much fun to be around that team. We had to show some teams mercy. Like once they got down, we actually had to put our foot off the gas at times.
Well, yeah, and that's so I know
True.
we'll get into the switch hitting thing later. But like if we were boat racing a team, and we needed to get out, like I would go up there left-handed, just messing around, saying, okay, well, I know I'm going to get left-handed, and end up smoking one in the gap or something. And I'm just like, doggone it. Like, that's not really what I wanted to do. But
we haven't got to switch hitting yet. We're getting there soon. It's exciting. All right. I got some bull quotes now. Ron Riggle, the head baseball coach at Lincoln Land. Good in high school, but really blossomed as a player when he got to Lincoln Land. If I had to pick someone who was our emotional leader, it was him. He's the rah-rah guy, everyday motivator, high energy, brought the positivity, did it every day. Absolutely killed it, and his numbers were stupid, and somehow the team was so great that it flew under the radar. And it's true. JU had that year and was player of the year. And like I said, like your numbers were video game. That's crazy that you had that kind of year, and someone else gets named player of the year. But
I was super happy for Justin because I mean he
deserved it too.
He got more home runs and he was really a force behind the dish, man.
Yeah.
Like gosh dang, you didn't dare run on him. But and there were some scouts around at the time, so like that was the year that because there was guys watching Scotty Blackwell.
Yeah.
There was follow-up scouts because Justin had already been drafted by, I'm trying to think, No, he had been drafted by the Cardinals once, but
And then the Giants.
But the Giants were around a lot, so we kind of knew that maybe that was going to happen. We knew like O'Malley had some guys kind of interested in him. I had gotten some letters, because I, ran fast and they knew I had a strong arm. And
From pro or talking college guys?
Yeah, well, kind of both. Yeah, kind of both.
Okay.
So I mean, you get these letters, and you just never know what's really going to happen. So, but after we'd won the national championship, the draft was like right around the corner. Yeah. And so I remember Justin getting drafted, and I was like, man, I wonder if Scotty's going to get drafted.
Yeah.
Since Scotty ended up getting drafted by the Twins.
Right. He went.
What's that?
He went.
Yeah, he did. He signed.
Yeah.
I can't remember if Justin was drafted in the 11th round that year or the 13th.
I don't have it on.
Yeah.
Off the top. I don't have
it.
it.
But anyway, we knew kind of maybe O'Malley might be a late guy, but I know O'Malley didn't think he was, but I always kind of thought in the back of my mind maybe somebody would because his numbers were really good
crazy.
That year too.
Absolutely.
And like I was kind of like, well, maybe I'll get a sniff, and
there was hope that you might
get picked up late
too.
or something like that. But the good thing is that Justin and I had already kind of committed to go to Miami of Ohio.
Oh, you had, okay.
In the fall before.
That's interesting.
Before that season even started, we kind of made a commitment, and that kind of happened, Blake, like out of nowhere.
This makes sense then. Okay.
Yeah. So there was a guy named Andy Danner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if you know that name.
Yeah.
Andy Danner had gone to Miami of Ohio and was talking to Tracy Smith, who was the coach over at Miami of Ohio at the time. He's like, hey, you should really look at these guys. I mean, they're some good ball players over there. And so he kind of came back or had his dad, Mark, take some video. All of a sudden, we're over there on a recruiting trip, and they needed a catcher.
Yeah.
They really didn't need an outfielder.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like the tag along, and they made an offer of like, I can't remember what we got, like 1.2 scholarships for the two of us.
Okay. Yeah.
And we were like, you know what? The hell with it. Let's just do it.
Let's go. Yeah.
Let's
if you guys don't know,
yeah.
Division I teams get 11.7 scholarships to divide amongst a roster of 20, 25. It's not that much money.
Yeah.
Like people don't realize that.
No.
That there's not a lot of money to go around.
And it used to be they had a lot more, but I don't know if it was because of Title IX stuff or whatever, but 11.7 scholarships to really fill about a 25-man roster.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get anywhere near a full ride.
Oh gosh, you're a dude. They think you're special.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is interesting because I talked to Coach Tracy Smith, who's now the head coach at the University of Michigan. Cool guy. I didn't realize you guys signed early because he was kind of alluding to that you were kind of a throw-in.
Yeah,
I
was the tag along brother,
dude.
again.
And I was thinking like, how is he a throw-in when he just had a season for the ages? But you hadn't had that season yet.
Yeah, no.
This was after your freshman year.
They knew they needed a catcher. Yeah. They had a senior catcher at the time that was serviceable, but wasn't going to light up the scoreboard or anything or do anything. But he. Yeah, so they were really searching for him, and they were like, yeah, you can bring your twin brother with you if you want.
Yeah. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
I got a Tracy quote. I think it's great. The volume might not be great, so I'm going to have to go back and redo this, but do your best to try to hear this.
Okay.
Well, I mean, honestly, the most interesting part to me of the Jason, and I'm going to say / Justin Knoedler.
Yeah, the switch hitting, right?
Well, no.
Oh, okay.
No, it's actually how he ends up at Miami.
Okay.
And I can't remember. I think I may have shared this with Jason, but now that they're older, and he's older, and you're doing this thing, I think this is it's kind of a cool story.
Okay.
So we were when we were at Miami, we were in need of a catcher. And so, we're combing the Midwest. And back then, recruiting was different. So you're using your network. And
yeah, absolutely.
All the scouts are, talking about, hey, this guy, that guy. So we get this name of Justin Knoedler at the junior college over there in Illinois. And we're like, okay, well, cool. So I hop in the car. I drive over. And keep in mind, I haven't said Jason yet. So
yes, sir.
I drive over to find the catcher. And so, of course, those guys, and back in the day, Justin was always slightly a little bit bigger than Jason. But anyway, back in the day, I show up and they're throwing down the line. I'm like, okay, there's the catcher that I'm here to see.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched the game, the practice, and all that stuff. And I love, Justin. So, but now, you throw in I don't want to say complication, but then the variable of twins.
Right.
And they had I'd gotten a little bit of like, okay, they kind of want to play together, but
Sure.
we didn't need an outfielder.
Yeah.
So we're like, we go through the recruiting process with Justin, and at the end, we're like, you know what? All right, we'll take his brother.
We'll take him. No big deal.
We threw him a little morsel or something like that. You know what? If it's going to get us Justin, we'll take the throw-in brother.
The throw-in.
Just because.
That's amazing.
And, so it's funny. I mean, I always think about that because then it turns out, obviously Justin had a stellar career, but Jason has the phenomenal career of, he switch hits, does all that, becomes not only the player on the baseball side, but I think he was also the Miami University Male Athlete of the Year.
I didn't know that. Sports. Amazing. Okay. Yeah.
But I always just think it's funny that the guy that was quote unquote throw in
crazy.
Ends up becoming an All-American and everything that he did.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's hilarious here in Tracy, and that we can get into that when you're ready for it, but that was a heck of a lot of fun playing for him.
We're gonna not get there yet. We're not done with 2000 yet.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm not done, buddy.
Good.
Just some more, but I had to throw that. That was the perfect time to throw that clip in there. And I remember feeling confused when he told me that, because I thought, how is this guy thinking he's not getting anything from this guy that just hit 4-something with 14 bombs and 50-something stolen bases, but you hadn't had that year yet. You had the kind of pretty good freshman year.
You're right. Yeah, because that was in the fall.
Yeah. So he was like, whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Whatever, we'll take this brother, the twin.
Yep.
And you turn out to be, you still hold all these records there and had this amazing season. We'll get there, but all right, let me finish some bull quotes here. When you put it all together, Jason's offensive season was right there with Ryan Apers, who was the JUCO Player of the Year, plus runner and a plus arm. Continued to grow every day. That energy guy, that team had such a bond. The talent, and Jason was the center of it. Jason has never big leagued anyone. Jason wouldn't allow that team to fail. He was just a great leader and wouldn't let anyone get too low. We're going to go to O'Malley now. And I even teed it up for O'Malley because you took a couple of friendly jabs at him.
I did.
He wouldn't take him back. He wouldn't take him back. And you guys are so close, and it was always fun seeing you guys run around together. So, it's all love between you guys. So, I teed it up for him. I said, this is your chance. He called you SHG pretty boy, talked about the chicken dance and doing all that stuff. And he says, I don't have anything on him. He's just a great guy, a great friend, a great dad, a great baseball player, coach. I even have my house mortgage out in Arizona through BOS because of him. True?
That's true.
True, yeah. By far, he was our spark plug, the way he could get on base, lead the team in batting average, breaking records, stolen base records. He was the only reason I broke the RBI record because he was always on second base, and I stole all the RBIs from JU. This was cool. On O'Malley playing center. So you played right. He played center.
Yeah, so when he didn't pitch, he would play center.
Yeah.
And I would play right.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if I played center very much because sometimes we had Ricky Harbor, who was a heck of an outfielder too.
Mm-hmm.
He would play center field. So I kind of just owned right field, which I got used to that sun field out there because that's
it is
traditional baseball field.
Oh,
that sun is a
bright
beast.
Boy, later innings out there could get brutal.
That's right.
You're gonna lose that ball.
That's right.
Or you had to get good at shielding. But on O'Malley playing center and you and right, I always laugh because he was by far faster than me, but he had a great arm, an accurate arm, and threw a ton of guys out, so they wanted him in right. We had a ton of fun and success running the outfield together for a few years. That's when the three of us became best friends. We rolled pretty thick through those years. Stole second and third base routinely, a true competitor, professional hard worker. And he said that you guys were a big help to him his senior year at Memphis when you guys were already in pro ball. And he said you were constantly getting in touch with him and telling him it was going to happen. And, keep your head up, stay positive. You guys believed in him, and that was huge for him because he saw his teammates already doing what he wanted to do, and he was making the transition to full-time pitcher, and it was kind of a weird year for him. And I think he really appreciated, how you guys were there for him as a buddy. So
yeah, absolutely, man. And we had each other's back, and we still do. I mean, if he ever needs anything, I'd do anything in the world for that guy. But like when we'd come back and work out. I mean, and it was, hey man, if we're going to work out, we'll get Ryan to come with us. If Ryan's going to work out, hey, we're going over here. Like I remember,
always.
Gosh, we'd go to the Rack and Fitness Center with some body sculpting class with a bunch of women.
We're the only I remember you guys talking about that.
Like hot yoga in there, and like we're like in pain trying to get in these positions, but pushed each other through it.
He was the
Great.
guy on the 2000 team. That was so fun playing each other in low A. So cool. We got to hang out when we played a series against them. So you guys got to play together your first year in pro ball. Is that right? Or
we played against each other.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah,
it was
against.
his first year, and it would have been
Yeah.
my second year.
Okay, your
But
second.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
right. That's
yeah.
right. And this was the year that you guys sunk the boat?
Yeah,
Together?
that probably would have been the year. Yeah, yeah. But we can get into that later.
Yep, sinking boats
Yeah.
together. And then finally, Ryan Murphy. Love this guy. Man, he's one of my favorite dudes to talk to baseball-wise. I know you and JU always say that, he's the one guy you played with that didn't play pro ball that you thought was, could have. And I don't know why. I feel like I have to tell him that every time I see him. I'm like, hey, you know that Jason said this? And it's like, yeah, you've told me like 50 times now. But love that guy.
He
could swing it.
He could roll out of bed and hit.
Yeah,
I mean, he just really could. And he had that mentality like, hey, man, I know you got to throw this ball over the plate, and I dare you. I mean, that was just the way his mind worked.
Yep.
So, he's a special guy as far as a competitor is. And to this day, I watch him coaching his kid's game, and that competitor is still in him. I mean, he's got some fire. It must be that Irish fire.
That's funny because he says that you guys will be in the clubhouse. Like, you'll be like, obviously, with Cole, and he'll be with his kid. And he says that you'll tell him to, like, ease off his kid.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'll tell back and forth, like, you ease off your kid.
I know. It is, man. And that's just the dad in us all. I mean, and it's, you want so much for your kids, and you push and push and push, but you got to realize there's a line there. And I think we both find that line.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. All right. He was a quote machine, man. I love talking to him. So he says he has a unique perspective of you. He's known you since high school, considers you a best friend, was your teammate, has coached with you, has become a business owner with you, and works together. So truly, he's seen you in like all, as parts of your life. So pretty cool. Best friend since you were 16. Some guys you just connect with, and you're going to be friends for the rest of your life. And that was on Playing with the Pride. Let's see. He was the spark plug. That team was the engine, but it didn't go without the spark plug igniting you. I've never played with a guy like him, one of a kind, unique. And then he talked about, I already played the clip about how you guys were average when you were out for a little bit. He had a contagious personality where he gets in a room and just starts making friends. It's hard to explain. I totally agree with that. You and Joey, your younger brother, have the gift of connection, and you guys can walk in a room of 30 strangers, and you're going to walk out with 30 friends. Totally.
Yeah, I mean, I get that a lot. I mean, like they're like, "Dang, Knoedler, you're like the mayor. Like, can you just go somewhere and just hang out?" I'm like, "No, man. Like, I just like meeting people. And you just never know, man. There might be a good story there somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
I mean, I've always said, and it might be corny, that like when Jason Knoedler walks into a room, it's like opening up the window and letting some sunlight in. It's just like positivity, happiness. Things just got better. So it's a good thing, man.
That's right. No, that's good.
Let's see. Did I already say this? He has a contagious personality. Did I just say that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. On a switch hitting. He's a freak. It's the number one story I brag on him about. My kids have been switch hitting since he was. My kid has been switch hitting since he was 4. People don't do that. We'll get to that. Let's see. On BOS. You know what? I'm going to save some of this. He talked about the legendary Knoedler hustle. That was awesome. And then finally,
I'm telling you, man, you don't realize how much grief we would get because like. We were always just hustling around, and maybe it was more me than Justin, but like, gosh dang, you guys said Johnny Hustle. I'm like, well, you know what, guys, shit.
Why don't you hustle
out
too?
Here. A great quote that I heard later in life. Even I mean, it was after I was already kind of putting in the extra effort of hustling. But there's nothing in this world doing without enthusiasm. So like, if you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do, if you're sweeping the patio, do it with enthusiasm. If you're playing baseball, do it with enthusiasm, man. So like and I say that to my kids every time. Like we're getting ready to play a game, we get our pregame sprints in, and I clap them in. We hustle up, and I say, guys, there's nothing in this world worth doing without enthusiasm. So let's go.
Like that.
So
love that.
Get them rocking and rolling.
Get them going, man.
That's right.
Okay. Shoot. You know what? I missed some Justin Knoedler quotes, so we're gonna go back and hit some Justin ones. So before we move on to like more past the 2000 team, so we're going back a little bit. He says you guys were always attached to the hip growing up. We play catch together, and he really attributes a lot of his success to you guys having each other to practice with and like always, have someone to play catch with. And
Absolutely.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, you never had to have a mom or dad there to play catch with. I mean, we always had a built-in catch partner or somebody to throw to you. And, I mean, he throws the best batting practice in America.
Iron Mike is his nickname.
Oh, my gosh, man. Right here, that
old
old catcher stance, just boom, right over the top.
No tail. Straight over
now,
the top.
my one beef with him, though, is like when we play catch, he was always throwing it harder at me than I was throwing it at him.
He had absolute cannon.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Whenever I had to pitch to him, if I wasn't throwing strikes, he would throw it so hard back at me. Just be, you better start freaking throwing strikes, man. It's like, I'm not sitting back here for another hour.
Oh, man. He said you guys were always each other's biggest fans, biggest supporters, biggest rivals, a true brotherly rivalry. He says, I at times was a little too cocky, and Jason was always good at bringing me down to earth, whether it was a pat on the back or get your head out of your ass, essentially.
That's right.
Yeah, and we've kind of
touched
on that. That seems very in line. We went when he went basically in life and in baseball, honestly. Always positive and upbeat. For 20 years of our lives, we've played together. We were teammates. I'm going to save some of these for when we get a little further into like our switch hitting and all that stuff in 2000. So you signed with Miami of Ohio that fall before this amazing 2000 run. Were you talking to any other teams or anything like that before that?
Gosh, I mean, looking back, I mean, there was a couple of other schools interested, and there were certainly more interested once we got into the season and we were having some success, and we were like, well, we're already committed, and we were going to be loyal. I mean, we really did have a great recruiting trip over there, and felt like it was a really good fit. You know what you're going to get with Midwest baseball. You're going to be cold coming out of the gate, and eventually it'll be nice. But not really. I mean, Justin probably had more looks than I did.
Right.
It just was. It was different back then.
It's totally different. Being recruited is totally different.
Yeah. So
and obviously, you're going through it. You've got a young baseball stud coming up here. Not necessarily. He just finished his freshman year, so he's not a senior year yet.
Right.
But
he's got time.
He's got plenty of time. But now they've got, there's so much travel ball, and all their stuff can be online, and everything can be
Everything's
video.
tweeted, man.
Yeah.
Get on Twitter.
Right. Yeah, but totally different. But I mean, you guys probably didn't have a tape, did you, or what?
No, that's what I was saying. Like we ended up at Miami of Ohio because of Andy Danner and Mark taking video of us and getting it to Tracy, and then Tracy making a trip over, and then all of a sudden we go on a recruiting trip and meet the guys over there, and just it was just awesome. I mean, they took us out and had fun.
It's fun going on those trips.
Oh, recruiting trips are great.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They're the best. Yeah, they treat you like kings.
That's right.
Until you get there. For real.
We promise you everything. You're the guy.
You're going to be starting.
That's right. And then that was it. I mean, like, you wanted to make sure that it was a fit, that you were going to get an opportunity.
Sure.
And heck, Justin knew he was going to start out of the gate because they really needed somebody that could catch and throw. But,
but you were the wild card.
I had to fight for it. Yeah.
Yeah, you showed up and did your thing, obviously, and that's really cool that he thought you were just kind of an afterthought, and you.
I mean, that's great, Tracy. I can't wait. I hopefully I will cross paths with Tracy this year now that he's back in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And I would love to go see him play at Illinois.
That'd be cool. Yeah, totally. I'm sure you guys could set that up.
Yeah.
But so after this 2000 year, this is your first year playing for the Rifles.
Yeah, so we played. Yep, Justin and I both played for the Rifles.
Cool experience for you.
Yeah, it was. I mean, great guys, and getting to go over there and play with the Quincy Gems and Decatur and
Danville Dans.
Oh yeah. That was a lot of fun.
CICL is a lot of fun. For those of you who don't know, it's now defunct. It's not a league anymore, but the Central Illinois Collegiate League. I think I say this every podcast, but used to be one of the top 5 best collegiate summer wood bat leagues. They were funded by the Major League Baseball. A lot of guys were drafted out of this league. A lot of guys ended up playing pro ball. Tons of talent. I mean, it was
besides the Cape Cod was always number 1.
Yeah.
Then you had the Northwoods League.
Right.
Then Alaska.
Yep.
Was like up there for some reason.
It was like
I got offered.
Right after those.
I actually got offered that same year to go up and play in Alaska.
Really.
And to this day, I kind of like, man, I wish I would have done that.
Would have been an interesting experience.
But it's like, why would I want to go to Alaska during the summer when I can hang out here with all my buddies and play baseball? And
buddy.
Yeah,
and that would have been like O'Malley too, and you guys just continued. Right?
Oh man, that summer, gosh, that whole year would have been a blast because I mean, O'Malley's are big boaters, and we would be out on the boat and hanging out. I mean, it was a lot of fun baseball, very competitive baseball, but also got to have a little fun off the field as well.
Oh, yeah? A little bit of fun?
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Okay. So now we're getting here to our getting to Miami of Ohio. You would have been a junior. I'm so pumped to get to this part of the story because it's one of my favorite stories in baseball, and I'm lucky that I know you and I got to be close to it and hear it. But this is when you've already talked about Coach didn't think there was much expectations on you, and you get there, and up until then, you were not a switch hitter.
Right.
Correct. Jason, let's just say your numbers from the year. So Jason ended up having a bonkers year. Just absolutely went off, decided to start switch hitting. We'll get into that, but 58 games, 239 at bats, 79 runs, 96 hits, 12 doubles, 3 triples, 17 bombs, 50 RBIs, 24 stolen bases, 402, second team All-American. You were the Miami of Ohio Athlete of the Year. Absolutely unloaded on that conference, and I'm sure everyone was surprised that you. I mean, a better year than you just had at junior college. People don't normally go from junior college to Division I and repeat or do better with numbers, and you did that. So let's get into it.
I still don't really know kind of how it all unfolded. I mean, thinking back on it, because you report in the fall, you start working out, you play a few fall games, you're working out, you play inter-squad games, you play a couple non-conference, sanctioned games and whatnot. Right. And that whole time, I'm just hitting right-handed. Yeah. And then you get into winter workouts, and I must have had like a time. I remember vividly, I had like I had to kill 2 hours between classes. And so it was a nice day in the fall after workouts, and I'm just on the tee, and I'm just like, I'm just going to hit left-handed, just screwing around.
Yeah.
And Dan Simons, who was sitting in his office, is watching me hit.
Who's Dan Simons?
Dan Simons was our hitting coach.
Okay.
And he's just sitting there watching for a while, and eventually, after like 30 minutes of me just like messing around on a tee, just literally just hitting balls off the tee, he comes out and he's like, I didn't know you hit left-handed. Why didn't you hit left-handed during the fall? I was like, Coach, I'm just messing around, man. He's like, the hell you are, dude. Like, we're going to do this. And so we got in the lab, just started kind of learning how to just hit the balls in the 6-hole. Like, I remember sitting on the field with a tee and just hitting balls into the 6-hole. Boom, boom. And then I started back spinning them into the left center gap. And then we'd start trying to see how far I could hit it turning on them. And all of a sudden it just kind of it just felt natural. I'm like, why haven't I been doing this?
11 of his 17 bombs were left-handed.
Yeah. So we mess around with it, and then we opened up, like we get to the spring season. We opened up at Alabama. I'm pretty sure we opened up at Alabama. I think that's right. So Tuscaloosa, which is an awesome place to play. They get good crowds. To give you a little bit of flavor, they've got guys in the right field heckling the right fielder the whole time, which I played right field.
Yeah.
So they're saying things like, hey, I see you and your twin brother on this team. Do you guys still bathe together? And like all this funny twin shit that I've heard for years and whatnot. But whatever. They've got a guy that down the third base line that if you make an error, they've got a fishing pole and they throw this boot out on the field and then they reel it in. It's just a great atmosphere for baseball. But I'm leading off in this game, and I lead off left-handed, and I hit a bomb.
No.
I hit a bomb, and I'm like, well, I guess this is going to stick. I didn't know if I was going to strike out or what the hell, but
the ball's on you to do this.
Yeah. So it kind of stuck after that, and then all of a sudden I felt confident with it, and ended up having a great year. And
you breezed over that way too much, man. We need to get into the bolts of that, dude. Like, how do you get it in your head? You just had this amazing year at Lincoln Land. Like, okay. I think it's cool that you were just like, F it. Like, I got nothing to lose. Like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Well, to this day, if I pick up a baseball bat, I pick it up left-handed because it was one of those things that just maybe felt natural. And
it looked very
why,
clean. I remember hitting with you guys.
Yeah, why I never did it. And so, but it did. And like some of these kids that are around here that I continue to work with that are switch hitters, I got a couple 10-year-olds that are doing it on CJ's team, and And I was like, man, guys, it's twice the swings.
It is.
And when I started doing it, it was like 10 times the swings.
Right, to catch up.
To try to catch up. And I remember my back, my left elbow being so sore.
Really?
Because, I mean, you think about that motion. I mean, it was almost like I felt like I needed Tommy John on my left arm because of how many swings I was taking. But it took some time. But, I mean, it was a heck of a lot of fun doing it. And
what was the transition from like I used to swing off the tee left-handed and it felt good, but then I'd look like a complete fool trying to swing versus live. Like what was that transition for you?
It just it just kind of felt natural, but like
you just could do it.
It was almost like that. Oh man, I never have to worry about buckling on a curveball ever again. Yeah. So I mean that part was great.
Nobody likes that spin, baby.
Yeah. and batting, kind of batting in the order where I was at. I for whatever reason, I was getting fastballs.
Where did they have you?
I batted leadoff sometimes. I batted third sometimes. So sometimes those curveballs. I always said, man, curveballs are great to hit because they're already back spinning in the other direction. So
right.
And I just get the barrel there, and
that's such a testament to this guy's athleticism.
Yeah.
I mean, like I recently read a book. I think Play Through the Pain. It's the Ken Caminiti book, and it talked about. Ken Caminiti started switch hitting in college as well at San Jose State and how hard it was for him. And I just thought, people don't understand how hard it is to switch. First of all, people don't understand how hard it is to hit a baseball when you get into Division I professional, and then it's like you just started over, like a whole new swing you're seeing everything from different eye shifts. I mean,
and that's the other thing too. I mean, they found out that like my dominant eye was this eye.
Oh,
too.
So that was conducive for hitting.
I mean, I think I saw the ball really well.
Yeah.
And I was fast, so I've had to get
obviously.
out of the box.
Yeah, you get an extra step or two.
That's right. Which I don't really – I feel like I didn't have that many, like, infield hits either, though. I mean, I felt like I was hitting the ball the other way a lot.
Yeah.
Or
like, what did all, like, your former teammates think when you're like, oh, yeah, I'm switch hitting now? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Well, when I came back to Springfield – and people found out, they were like, "What? What do you mean you're a left-handed hitter now?"
You don't switch hit? I'm switch hitting now.
I mean, you primarily see mostly right-handed pitchers.
Yeah.
So most of my at-bats that year, I think, were lefty.
Lefty, man.
So, yeah.
And you just felt confident, like I can do this.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun, and I mean, and that's what I think that's what ultimately got me drafted, was because, like they were like, man, if you can do this, you can put the work in and maybe progress to the minor leagues and get you over the hump. But it was funny. There was a game where my grandma Donna was at, and she's sitting by all the scouts, and they found out who she was. He's like, "So has he always been able to switch hit?" And she, of course, said, "Oh yeah, he's been doing it forever."
He was 4 years old.
No, mom. My mom was like, "No, he hasn't. He just started doing it this year."
Yeah, right. That's what most people don't understand is that, like the Mickey Mantles, the Eddie Matthew or Eddie Murphy. These guys start switch hitting when they're 5 years old because their dad had the foresight to be like, "You're going to be a switch hitter,"
right.
Not, "I'm going to try this as a 20-year-old man at Division I."
Yeah.
And
and Tracy Smith, like he always had this saying. He was like, "You know why I had 13 strikeouts in that game? Because I wanted to." And so he's like, "You know why you switch hit? Because you wanted to."
Yeah.
Like like whatever you want to do, man, go do it.
Yeah.
Like put your mind to it and do it.
Which brings us to our next Tracy Smith quote or clip.
Well, again, I don't know that he divulged the tinkering or that he said he was a switch hitter. We just kind of, because he could run.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to what I said just now. Like, we didn't have a lot of expectations for him.
Yeah.
I'm almost embarrassed to say that.
No.
So we were kind of like, yeah, man, do whatever you want to do. Because we
do whatever you want to do.
I know. Isn't that
crazy?
Yeah.
And you go on to have the greatest offensive statistical season in Miami, Ohio history.
Well, what's crazy is, I remember Tracy Smith, like, being pissed off at me because we were in the fall and we were having our ring ceremony from our Lincoln Land Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, some night there was a dinner, we were going to get our rings, and it was our last workout of the fall. And I'm like, hey, man, can Justin and I, like, just skip out early because we want to get back for our ring ceremony? And he said no.
Really?
Like, you're here now. You got to put in your time and blah, blah, blah. You'll get there when you get there. And, like, I was like, oh, come on, coach. Like, this is a big deal, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, this is a big deal. This program's a big deal. And that kind of woke me up. I was like, okay, I get it. You know, like,
for sure.
But so he wanted us to be committed, but
Yeah.
at the time he's just like, well, I don't even know what I'm going to get out of this guy.
Right. Yeah. Right.
This is just a fall. Like,
Yeah.
like he's like, yeah, this kid's just a tag along guy,
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun. But
And like,
yeah,
selfishly for me, this has been so cool talking to all these people. 'Cause I'm getting to talk to like the head coach of University of Michigan,
Yeah.
and I got to talk to DK, your best bud, who's this guy's going to be a manager in the big league someday.
I
It's
hope
100%
so.
happening.
If he wants to continue to do it, man, he can
Absolutely.
totally do
That's
it.
crazy.
He's interviewed for him.
He's going to get it.
Yep.
Like, it's going to happen. I talked to PJ Finnegan. He said the same thing. DK's on the path.
Yeah.
On the path to doing it. But all right, we've got a few more switch hitting or clips from some of your buddies on your switch hitting times here. So let me get to those. Let's get to how about O'Malley?
I think the biggest thing that I always think about Jason and his career, the way he picked up switch hitting.
Dude, yes. Thank you for getting to that. Oh my God, isn't that amazing?
The way he picked up switch hitting in Division I baseball,
nuts,
is bananas. I mean,
Here is Justin Knoedler.
you got to see it, so tell me, like, what was that
Well,
like?
it's still probably one of the more impressive things that I've
Right?
ever seen in my whole
Yeah.
career of baseball. Because
Yeah, seriously.
and to be honest with you, man, there was a sense of just pride and I guess just proud of him because he took the gamble to do it, and
Yeah.
and then he obviously had tremendous success. And not saying that he was a little bit in a shadow, if that's even the right term, of me, because I got drafted out of high school and I got drafted
he
out
was,
of Lincoln
yeah.
Land. He didn't. I mean, he took some scouts to talk to him, but he just didn't get any love. And then before you know it, man, he's I'm in his shadow at Miami of Ohio, man. He was the man.
Yeah,
Crazy. And that is something I want to talk about actually was, JU had been drafted twice before you guys' junior year at Miami of Ohio, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'd been picked up. He'd been drafted by the Cardinals and then the Giants.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I don't want to phrase this wrong, but you kind of had been in his shadow to a degree.
No question.
And
but if you're going to be in someone's shadow, might as well be in your twin brother's shadow.
Yeah,
'cause
I'll
that's,
swim in that way.
Yeah, that's right.
For
that's
sure.
Right.
But was this cool for you to step out? And so for you guys that don't know, Justin ended up breaking the hamate bone in his left hand at Miami of Ohio and could not hit. You can't swing. It was right at the season kind of started. And they converted him to a pitcher, and lo and behold, he throws 98. Crazy. So whatever. He gets drafted as a pitcher. But really, this was your year. You shined offensively. You were the catalyst for this team. Was it cool to
Oh, no, so it was funny. So, that whole thing, I was bummed. I mean, when Justin broke his hamate bone, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Because, we had a pretty good team at Miami. We thought we would do very well in the conference. But then it was like, oh, shit, now we got to have a couple of these other guys catch, and, he's not going to be able to do it. And he jumps on the mound, but all of a sudden, he's kind of a closer role, throwing upper 90s.
Right.
And I was just like, holy shit, dude. This is crazy. The draft comes around, and I'm like, okay, we're getting some conversations going.
Yeah.
People are talking to me, and they're like, okay, well, we think Jason, we're going to take you between probably somewhere between the 5th and the 10th round. Great. Justin's kind of got the same thing now as a pitcher.
Right.
And I'm just like, no way,
Dude, yeah.
no way, this guy's going to get drafted ahead of me now. But so draft day comes along, and first guy, Justin, gets picked in the the 166th pick, I think.
You guys were 11 apart.
Yeah, and I was 177th pick.
Crazy.
Sure.
That is bonkers.
And so, it was a lot of fun, and I was just like, man, I just had the season of my life.
Still
out of nowhere, and Justin gets drafted for the third time ahead of me. Obviously, I'm super excited for him.
Right,
but I was just like, man, what
do
I gotta do?
You throw 3 innings at Miami, Ohio. You get drafted in the 5th round.
Exactly. So funny, but no, it was a lot of fun, and that season, so couple really funny stories, or at least one funny story, in the conference tournament.
When you get sick?
I got sicker than a dog. Did Tracy Smith talk about this
Jay,
story?
you did. I've got a clip here.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Do you want me to get into it yet?
Let's lead you. Lead you. So
And the dude is literally we're in one of the conference championship games, and he is laying on the bench just sleeping. I mean, He's so sick. And we got into a critical situation, and Tracy Smith asked him if he could pinch hit it all, and he's like, yeah, all I got to do is go up there and throw my hands. And so the dude is like on death's door. He walks up to the plate and hits a fucking home run to center field. I mean, and he's damn near walking around the bases. He's got no energy whatsoever. I couldn't believe it.
That's the story you're about to tell?
Well, that's part of it. So, no, we're heading to the conference tournament was in Ball State.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Ball State.
It's Indiana.
Yeah. And we stop at some diner. I mean, I don't know if it was a Denny's. Don't want to defame Denny's, but it was like a Denny's, okay? And so whatever I ate, I got food poisoning like you would not believe. I'm not kidding you, not exaggerating. I lost 20 pounds in like 2 days.
Yeah.
I mean, couldn't eat, couldn't drink. Everything is coming out of me from like everywhere. Like it was really, really bad. I was going to I would play, then I would go get an IV. I would go into the hospital and have IVs put in me. So there was one game where Ball State had a pitcher named Brian Bullington. He ended up being one of the top draft picks of the year.
Yeah.
So I think that game that I hit the home run, Brady Norai, who was one of our top couple hitters in the lineup, hits a ball off Bullington's face, and he's got a baseball size wound on his face. So I'm in there after the game. I'm getting an IV, and he's in the room next to me getting his face tended to. I mean, it was insane. But, like, I don't know what it was, but, like, I've never been more sick in my life to this day. I mean, it was bad.
Yeah.
But I ended up having a good conference tournament when I played and did the best I could.
I feel like I remember.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, you get drafted after this. Well, I'm not trying to skip ahead, but I feel like I remember. Did you ever gain that weight back? Like you were really thin when you came back from pro ball that year.
It probably took me a while to gain it back.
Right.
I mean, it was.
If you go right back into pro ball after that, and that's the grind of the minor league life. Yeah.
Right. Because then, I mean, right after that tournament would have been the draft, so we would have been reporting down to Florida pretty quick.
So you were obviously named, Player of the Year, an All-American. Just have a crazy year. I mean, what was that? Did you just? I mean, obviously it's better competition than at Lincoln Land. You just rose to it.
Yeah, no, I mean,
kept progressing as a player.
So there was when I started hitting left-handed, I kind of emulated a swing off of. You remember J.R. Keyes? Remember J.R.?
Yes, J.R. Keyes.
He had a cousin, and I cannot remember his cousin's first name, but it was a Keyes. He played at Ohio University. Mm-hmm. This guy's swing was so simple and so compact. I remember that's how I tried to be like.
Really?
He was like a doubles machine. I mean, he was one of the top hitters in the conference even that year.
Really?
He was a senior, so he was a year ahead of us. Gosh, I can't think of his first name for some stupid reason. But anyway, I was like, man, I just want to get the barrel to the ball. So, I mean, it was just keep it simple, stupid, barrel balls, and see what happens. And that's kind of how I had a good year.
Man, I can imagine what that felt like, just dominating like that and being like, I'm writing my ticket right now. Did you feel like I'm going to get drafted now? Like, this is happening.
I knew there was a good chance, but like after, the previous couple of years, you just never know with these things. And I'd seen some other guys have really good years, and whatever they see or whatever they do, they just don't know if it's the right time or if the money's not there. But it was, it worked out. And I remember Tracy Smith saying, hey, I'm hearing that it's probably going to happen for you and Justin both. So if you guys want to come back, you'll have a full ride to come back.
Oh, really?
And that's just what they do. He knew he had some seniors leaving, and he said, but you got to let me know quick. Yeah. So if you sign, you got to let me know because I need to go get other players.
You've been upgraded from afterthought.
That's right. So, no, those were great comments by Tracy, and I appreciate that. And I knew where I was at. I mean, I know that I had tools, but, these programs need what they need, but it was a commitment to I would more than happily be in the shadow to continue to play with Justin. And, that was always kind of our dream. Like, even if we would have had a chance to play even a couple years in the minor leagues or pro ball, But man, we never even crossed paths.
Never. Yeah.
Never did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. We're just getting into that. Jason's about to get drafted here in the 6th round, 11 picks apart from JU. Were you guys sitting around waiting for this? I mean, what is this moment for you? This is a huge moment in a baseball player's career, getting drafted. The pro career starts.
Yeah, no, I remember we had some people over to the house. It was at 136 North State, and everything, like the internet back then was still like dial-up internet. So like you had to see the results online. You kept having to like push refresh on the internet to like get it to come up.
Right.
So back there you remember the room, like Joey's room had the best computer.
Yeah.
So so that's what we were checking on, and all of a sudden I see Justin's name pop up by the Giants, and I'm like, oh man, he just got drafted by the same team
again.
Yeah.
They must have really like him. Yeah.
Which was the 5th round, and so that was exciting. And then he got the call after we saw that, and then we saw my name pop up, and then I got a call from the scout, and man, they moved quick too, though. I mean, so it was jubilation. I mean, everybody around was super excited. I remember my dad going to buy some beer, and it was a lot of fun.
I mean, but I just think it's a really cool moment for you because, like, I know I alluded to this, but you guys weren't in high school thought this probably wasn't your path. Like, it didn't seem like that was the trajectory you were on.
No, I was taking finance classes at Miami of Ohio, just gearing up to try to.
And a few short years later, here you are getting drafted in the 6th round, which. An organization has tremendous respect for you if you're getting drafted that early. They think you're going to be something, and I mean, just a huge honor for you to be selected. I mean, what's going through? Jason Knedler's head?
It absolutely was. It was very exciting, and like you never know how it's going to unfold. I remember I remember like Cincinnati, the Reds had showed like a bunch of interest.
Mm-hmm.
The Twins. And some other teams that, like, I remember my coach, like Tracy, was like talking about, like, hey man, these guys are around. Detroit was like never even on the radar, so I was like trying to look up, like, what do I know about Detroit at the time? Detroit there wasn't much going on for Detroit, but like, okay, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, right.
Maybe it's a quick way to the big leagues.
Sure, just happy to get the call.
Yeah, so I mean, trying to figure out then, okay, where do you report? Are they in Florida? Are they, so. But it was a heck of a party that night, and then I think the scout, and I'm trying to remember his name. It stinks I can't remember his name, but he showed up maybe a few days later.
Yeah.
And makes an offer, and I think I was one of the first ones to sign, like out of the top 10, because I remember like. Later on, the guys were giving me grief. He's like, "You ruined it for everybody because we were all holding out for more money, and then you go, and then they start slotting it. Now it's all slotted, so
you can't get out of it.
It doesn't even matter. But so it's like, let's go.
How did negotiations? I mean, did you negotiate at all, or you just said, "I'm signing"?
What I remember is that their first offer was like $75,000 and a plane ticket, and I'm just like,
no way.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the number, and
was
fortunately,
anyone helping you out with this?
Yeah, fortunately, we had a guy by the name of Joe Bick, and Joe's a great guy, great agent. We'd kind of gotten hooked up with him immediately following. Once we knew we were kind of probably going to get drafted,
for sure.
He represented us, and so he's like, yeah, no, just they're going to come back with another number. It needs to be more than that to walk away from your 4th year at Miami and all that stuff. So they end up coming back with another number, and I said, no, they're still not there. And so about the 3rd time they got to a number that seemed reasonable for us at the time, and heck, more money than we'd ever seen. So
I've got the number. It's available on Baseball Cube.
Oh, yeah. It's like, it was 142,000, and they also paid for the rest of my school.
Yeah.
So,
I remember you bought that. Was it in a Isuzu?
In a Isuzu Rodeo.
You just thought you were better than everyone.
Oh, I did.
Just
yeah.
a Isuzu.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're driving in a Isuzu Rodeo, you've made it. I think I can't tell this story on this podcast, but Melissa made me sell that car later. Yeah.
All right. We'll save that one for later.
For another time.
Yeah. So, I mean, what does someone do when you get that kind of money? I mean,
Well, you
Tell
save
me.
it. I mean, they cut you. What they do most of the time, I think they probably still do it. They cut you a check for half of that number, and then they pay you the other half after the first of the year for whatever reason. I don't know why they do that, but
Okay.
but no, you try to save as much as you can, but then you also got to allocate. Trying to live off that money while you're trying to make it, because
Right.
the first year I made $850 a month and had to pay for rent. And
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's not getting by. Before we move any further, there was a few more just quotes on your switch hitting that I have to say before I move forward. But from Bull, for him to do that at that time in his life and have that kind of success is unheard of. It just doesn't happen. DK, Don Kelly, the athleticism it takes to do something like that is crazy. It just speaks to who he is and how much work he had to put in to be successful with that. Just an incredible work ethic. Jamie Stash, it's nuts. It's amazing. Hitting bombs left-handed, you kidding me? It's mind-boggling that he was able to start switch hitting in college. Murph, I think I already said it, but I'm going to say it again. He's a freak. It's the number one story I brag on him about. My kid's been switch hitting since he was 4, and people just don't do that. So, all right, we're into pro ball now. So you signed. Where do you go? What happens next?
So we signed, and then I reported
Did
down.
JU sign close to the time you did as well?
I think he signed a little after. Yeah, so I think he held out a little bit longer because, his situation was a bit different because, same team coming back for the second time, and so he was able to kind of hold off a little bit longer. But and he had to mess around with, well, are you going to pitch? Are you going to catch?
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
How do you want me? Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he still had a broken hamate bone
Right.
when they drafted him. So, but you guys will get into that another time. But so no, I reported down to Lakeland, Florida. We were down there for a short period of time, and then Oneonta, New York was the first half season.
Yeah.
And boy, was that a treat.
Let's go.
That Oneonta, New York, upstate, a couple hours, maybe not even a couple hours. Low A ball, yeah. So and it's usually the half season, so it's a New York Penn League.
Yeah.
So most of the players that you're playing against are one of two people: college guys that just got drafted, or guys that were in extended spring training. Mostly a lot of like Latin guys that maybe got picked up. They're playing in that league. So good baseball, a lot of history, especially being close to Cooperstown. And so Oneonta was one of the only fields, maybe at the time, that did not serve beer.
Really?
So you can imagine how many fans they got.
Yeah. Oh,
But a ton of history. I mean, I think they were originally like a Yankees affiliate. So, like I said, just a ton of history, but accommodations, like our locker room.
Not great.
Oof. The tarp on the field was like in 8 pieces because they didn't have enough people to work. Like if a rainstorm popped up, like you just start grabbing pieces of tarp and like just throw
shit out there.
Yeah. Brutal. But kind of a cool little town. I mean, there's a couple of like liberal arts schools there. I can't think of the name of the schools. One little drive downtown, there was a great bar called the Sip and Sail that we'd hang out at after games and whatnot. But kind of a cool little league.
What was that? So I'm looking at your numbers here. 226, 4 bombs, about 200 at bats, three doubles, four triples, 11 stolen bases. Not like a
it was a grind. I mean, after playing a full college season, it's like that first year where you're like, holy cow, man, this is like you're tired.
A big jump in competition as well.
Yeah, you're tired, and a bit of a graveyard field, and you're hitting with wood bats. So those balls that you think are going out,
right?
Like that was hitting in Miami, are just fly balls, man.
Yeah.
They're just fly balls. So okay. And at the end of the season, you're getting a little tired. But I remember, like, I came out of the gates, like, hitting pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really did. And then I felt like I got tired,
Yeah.
But still had a lot of fun. I still felt really good about, my opportunity and played good defense and ran well. So
were you playing right?
Right field, center field, and even left. They kind of said, hey, you're an outfield. you want to be able to, your tools, you got to be able to learn how to play them all.
Yeah.
Because, you might not be with us forever.
Right.
Like, so learn how to play left, learn how to play center, learn how to play right. And
Where did you prefer to play?
I love center field because you just go,
Yeah.
But if I had to rank them, center, right, then left.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
So, not the success you had at Miami of Ohio. Where's your head at after a year like this?
Still feeling good because you knew it's kind of a
that first year can be tough.
Yeah, kind of prospect, and they're still pumping you up. And I knew they'd already told us, like, right when we reported, it's like, hey, you're going to go to Oneonta. After Oneonta, you're going to go home for a few weeks, and then you're going to come down to instructional league. So we kind of knew that was coming, but man, that Oneonta, like, and the other thing about that league, it's some long bus trips.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting 10, 12-hour bus trips.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
How are you passing the time on those bus trips?
A lot of movies.
Yeah.
I actually read.
This is before smartphones and all that stuff. So
yeah.
you're talking to your teammates or you're watching stuff.
Yeah. You're calling cards and you're
calling cards. Oh man.
But a lot of movies, a lot of reading. What was good is that that first year people were coming out to see us play. So like my parents came out.
Okay, cool.
Some friends. Pally came out and watched.
Really?
And this is a great story. So we have an opportunity. They always do a Hall of Fame game.
Here we go.
So Hall of Fame game is they play a minor league game at Doubleday Field, which is in Cooperstown, and then they play a big league game. So we're playing, and Bruce Richards and his son come out to that game, and they're there for the whole weekend, for the whole Hall of Fame weekend. It's that weekend where they do the inductions and all that. So I hit a home run from the right side of the plate and the left side of the plate when Bruce Richards was there.
Oh, man.
And, man, he took credit for all that. But the way he tells the story, he came back to Springfield. He's like, you know what that guy did? He got up and hit a ball out right-handed, and then later in the game, he hit one out left-handed.
We used to always
the
Pally joke used to always be like, he would give you like some hitting advice. He'd be like, it's not here, it's here.
And it was the exact same thing.
The exact same thing.
he looked the exact same thing. So exact same way.
Oh man, Pally, that's great. All right.
So that was a treat, and but man, that first year, like I told you, we're making $850 a month.
Yeah.
And so
scraping by.
So
who are you living with?
The first, that's what I'm getting to. Like the first that you report to Oneonta, and they put you up in the very classy establishment called the Oasis Inn, which is the worst hotel I've ever been in. Like your wife, my wife, there's no way.
Not doing it?
No, they're not staying more than 10 seconds.
No stranger to bed bugs?
No, my gosh, terrible. So we